charms. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Spot grown doing big ass grows. Red Southern Farms also got the flame. Michigan Rose grows folks. Just wanna grow something to smoke. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show. Michigan Rose Show.
Oh shit, it's gonna be a good show. You see, we got the good cut on the music, man. Great fade. Welcome to the Bro Show Live. What's going on, everybody?
Hey, that was a dope intro, man.
It
I
was.
like that.
It was.
Yeah.
I was really entertained.
That was cool. I'm sitting there watching, like,
Gets you
fuck
pumped in the
yeah, it's
mood.
got the vibe. I know, that's cool. Introduces everybody, has a real nice, like, family kind of vibe, you know. That's
Don't
cool.
you feel like? Don't you just feel like going?
Shout out to Catachronic for the tunes on that. They did that song for us.
Yeah, man.
together the video.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate that, especially checking out the production value on your guys' channel.
Oh, yeah, appreciate it, man. Definitely. I'm always looking at other content. I'm like the content nerd of the team. I'm always watching everybody and tuning in. And it's cool to see Michigan putting it on and making it happen. You know, I feel like there's not as many of us who collaborate and connect, and this is a great opportunity to do that, man. So appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Tap into that community.
Welcome. Let's give you guys a formal introduction. Welcome to Rob and Trey from the Cannabis Lifestyle TV, YouTube, Twitch channel. You guys are kind of all over the place. So if you check out Rob's page, he's got a little link tree thing set up. So he's got so many links to their stuff. So that'll get you all tuned in with what they're doing. Thank you for bringing some viewers over here. I see them in the chat. They're saying they're from the
Yeah, man.
channel.
Yeah, the Gromies. Hell yeah.
Rodney's
right.
will show up for sure. Good shout out to all of them for joining us tonight, and again, just thanks for having us on. Like Rob said, there's not a lot of well, for us, there hasn't been a ton of like Michigan collaboration as far as like content creation or just like community edutainment, as we like to call it, which is kind of what we specialize in. So yeah, I think it's dope to see platforms giving way to shows like this, and so shout out to you guys for having us.
I think it's dope. I think it's dope too because we were talking before a little bit, and you guys said you're more on the west side, and we really don't have a west side representation really on the show. We're kind of we're spread out a little bit, but we're more mostly
on the west side, right?
but
Yeah,
nobody on
sure.
the west side. Yeah, so.
Central, East, way north.
Like Grand Rapids is
Exactly.
pretty popping, and Traverse City's pretty popping for cannabis. So there's some hot spots, but really, I don't hear of a lot of other cities on west side. Is there more spots west side besides those two cities that
I mean,
are really?
Muskegon is
Muskegon is definitely on the
hard.
rise.
They're pretty well saturated now, and there's still more coming.
Pretty well saturated is an understatement.
We've
West Side in the
said
tab.
for
Shout out.
years that, well, I kind of joked before we started that the joke is like, oh, you guys aren't from Cali? And it's like, no, people just automatically assume if you have like, major gains in cannabis industry to some degree or community that, you're just from there. But, Ben trying to represent for Michigan. And then when you say from Michigan, they go, oh, Detroit? No,
Everybody says Rob from Detroit. I'm like, I've only been to Detroit a handful of times. Like,
the last time somebody asked me if, or I told someone from out of state I was from Michigan, they asked if I was a fly fisherman.
yeah, that's also very common too. I know we've got a kind of a logical fallacy here that most of us are countrymen, or else we live in Detroit. So it's kind of, and then there's Flint, like that's pretty much what we've got. So it's nice to see it spreading.
Don't drink the water.
Don't drink it. Don't feed your plants that either. Oof.
Most in common with Mexico.
Good time to use a filter.
Yeah,
I know. Somebody said they were smoking on some Flint mints the other day, and I was like, "Ooh, I hope they,
sorry to Flint, man. I feel bad for
water with the Flint water."
Flushed at 2,000 ppm.
Man, I was drinking that water. I was working in Flint
grow my sugar
during all that shit, and man, we were making the coffee, and I'm looking at the coffee pot as we were pouring it in, and I'm like, "Why is it yellow?" So, man, I must have ingested some of that shit. Who knows?
Did you still drink it?
Yeah, I drank it.
Ooh,
I
it's
mean,
coffee.
we went to the coffee pot, so we were like, well, it got heated. It killed all the stuff. But anyway, thanks so much, you guys, for joining us. I've been watching your show for quite a while, and it's an honor to have you on. So I don't know what you guys want to talk about. If you had like a topic you want to talk about a little bit, or just have us fire off questions. I've got a lot of questions for you guys or something. How you wanted to work it, Sequence. You go ahead, but I have a lot of questions.
I've got to roll a couple.
You're on.
I'm just noticing now, and sorry to break everybody, bro. I didn't call you to wear that?
No,
shirt.
I know.
Like-
we just did this.
Twinsies.
Oh, twinsies! That's fucking.
Yeah,
amazing.
that's
You
happened
like that?
before.
How cute is
We've
that?
done it.
Yeah,
Show up here
That is pretty good.
I
Great
know. What if
minds.
you would have wore the same? And I almost was gonna wear my gray
That's what I
CLtv.
said. Thank God you did not.
know.
So, okay.
I wanted to ask
Tree's
you
always
guys a
wanting to be
pretty generic.
twinsies.
Is that a royal gold hat, Rob? It
Oh, yes,
almost
sir.
looks. Oh, there. Hey, I like the hat, anyways.
Thank
I'm
you.
a fellow royal gold user over there.
Yeah, hell yeah. I love Royal Gold.
Tuper. We used to use Tuper a lot at work.
Tuper, that's what I use.
He's stupid.
Saw that Tuper gang. Hell yeah, that's cool.
It's good stuff, man. I like it.
So while I was researching your guys' channel, I discovered you guys have been doing this for 6 years or so. We're at about year 3 for ourselves. I was just curious, what inspired you to start making content? How did you guys start doing that? See, I believe it's a trio of you guys that co-founded Cannabis Lifestyle TV.
Yeah, it's me and Trey who started it. Like, it's a weird deal. We were like 6 people. How many was it, Trey?
Yeah, like with production, like 7.
Yeah, we were like 7 people. So I had this crazy ass idea. I was doing marketing for a lot of companies in my area, like just videos and ads and shit. And I used to make music videos for rappers. So I was like, I got this skill set, but I don't love what I'm doing. And the only thing that I had was like, I guess, cannabis knowledge. I was like, what niche can I fill that would be valuable and I could have fun in? And the content was so that I was seeing online. It was about 7 years ago then. It was mainly just people standing in front of their garden with their phone or just generic camera, and you could barely hear them because there's fans. Like, yeah, so here's what I do. I'm like, oh. And I've watched 30-minute videos to figure out how to top a plant. And I'm like, well, that could have just been a 2-minute at the most, 1-minute video, and then making canna butter forever long. I'm like, this is crazy. So I literally went around to all the people I knew who were like the A team of consumers and growers. I was like, hey guys, that's what it was. That was like the best people I could think of. I'm like, we should, fill this niche of this person, that person, this person. and let's come together. I wasn't even going to be on camera. Like I was running, I had 2 cameras and I was literally running back and forth to man them both. And I had one of my clients who rented me his warehouse to use to film it. It was a shit show, but
Nice.
we tried, I had big dreams, and eventually nobody, like, it kind of fizzled out. And the only person who stuck around was Trey, and Trey only had a micro segment on the show. That's the craziest thing. And Trey was like, fuck that. I'm about it. Let's make it happen. I was like, yeah. He's like, listen, I want to be your partner. I want to take this to the next level. I got a couple ideas that I think would be nice, and let's try it. He's like, I got this medable stuff that we can make more than a second long. Let's make it a full episode. Let's do this. Let's do that. And next thing you know, we've got 300 some episodes later, and it's really morphed into a whole new show because collaboratively we changed the concept to a new thing. And I love where it's gone. And I like making content in general. That's why I've got like 10 shows. So it's like doing this is my hobby, but then I was able to morph it and do my career, doing it full time.
Yeah, I was looking at your channel and I was like, how the hell do I introduce these guys? They've got like 6 or 7 different shows and all these different, you're each on different shows and there's all this overlap and then other guys. And it's like, I'll just introduce the channel. Because we kind of have a similar thing where we have other shows and stuff on our channel. And then maybe you could educate people on what your different shows are.
Yeah, so we've got Trey. I was gonna say Trey take over with the Elevated Chef. I think you just dropped one Monday.
Yeah, Munchie Mondays, Elevated Chef over on YouTube. Mostly food and cannabis, which makes up a great deal of who I am. Like Rob said, I was just supposed to be like the weatherman, like, all right, and this is how you put weight in your food, and back to you guys,
What time is that show on Monday?
What's going on Monday?
What time is it?
No, what time are you guys on Monday?
He just Monday is
Usually
just a
about
pre-recorded,
6.
so he'll drop it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's usually at 6.
Well, see, that's a big thing for us is we have a lot of like a Monday thing that we have too, whereas we go from like Medical Mondays and you come over to the late session, hang out with us, and you can shoot over to Eagle Gardens, and that's all Michigan too. It's like all Monday shit, man. So.
Yeah, Medical Mondays. That was dope. I was out there recently. Spark Girls, I see you. That's where I saw you originally, I believe.
Yeah, I've seen you on Medical. Let me see. I can think in the last 2 weeks, maybe I've seen you on Medical Mondays. I've seen you on, was it Jamie Lowell's show?
Jazz Cabbage.
Jazz Cabbage. Jazz Cabbage.
Cabbage.
And then you on Perfect Gardens.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he's getting on to all these shows.
I didn't even think about it that way. Yeah, about a bunch of shit. I just I don't know, man. I like doing it. I don't hang out with many people. Trey's the only person I kick it with locally. So it's like meeting new people and kicking it with the Gromies is my favorite thing to do if I'm not with my kids. That's
how long have you guys known each other?
As long as we did this show, literally, we met a little bit before they're at the Grove store.
7 years, yeah.
About 7 years. And then we morphed from being just like colleagues to homies. We kick it as often as I'm free, which isn't a whole lot, as Trey knows. But it's like...
well, we had the commonality of the Grove store. I was there at the time trying to gain my garden knowledge. I've had a lifelong relationship with cannabis, as I'm sure most of this panel can attest to, but it was at that point for me was like diving further into the actual cultivation of the plant, because when you're only exchanges potentially a nickel bag, there's a lot to be had from that then on, right? So Rob came in, he was a customer as well as his dad at the time, and we kind of crossed paths, and as they say, the rest is history, right? So.
And the rest was history indeed. We have a lot of parallels with all the stuff you guys explained.
That's what I'm hearing too, man.
The show and stuff.
Isn't it wild?
I really enjoy that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys probably know too, with like cannabis content making of any sort. Well, being in any kind of relationship with cannabis, it's almost like a stigma. There's usually some sort of preset.
It's pretty cool.
I would say like what do they call that? Discrimination of cannabis, and it goes through to content making. I think that's partially why Rob has 10 shows, but like it just sort of ended up that way, is in why you guys collectively come together, because that's not the only, but one of the more powerful algorithm hacks, right? Is to let's come together, let people know what it is, what we're doing collectively, and then if any one of us strikes a tune with somebody who happens to be consuming the content, whether it be audio or visual or otherwise, then they'll, track you down more than likely. But what's kind of cool, or what's happened with us, is, like Rob said, we've morphed into what it is now. And so you morph into a bigger community of people.
At this point.
There's, our man Pigeons, who we talked about, is out in Canada, but his audience has grown to kind of have an affection for us and vice versa. You know what I mean? As far as what we do, what we represent, the content that we make, and just the vibe that we like to kind of set. So,
yeah. Well, like with touching on Pigeons, we've actually got a show with Pigeons 420 and Mr. Grow It, which Painted Lady, I believe, was on Mr. Grow It's show.
Yeah,
we jump from the stash here soon too. It was a good one. But we've got From the Stash podcast. So that's a newer one. That was another like idea, crazy idea I had. I was like, I wanted to get with these dudes to make something. We were just like, what can we do? And I was like, maybe a podcast. Like I literally was telling people in my community, I'm like, go and bother Pigeons 420 and Mr. Grow It and tell them I want to work with them. They wouldn't respond to my DMs. Like it was just consistently a situation where I'm like, man, how do I get a hold of them? And eventually, shout out to Gavin. He finally got through to Pigeons. And then we were both on Chris's show separately. And it was his highest rated show with like the most views. And he was like, oh, hey guys, we should do something. I was like, son of a bitch, I was thinking the same thing. Let's do a show. And it evolved from that. And the thought process wasn't necessarily for it to grow as quick as it has. It was to maybe have our audiences cross over and see all of ours so we can help grow our channels more. And we can hang out together and shoot the shit. And it just has been taken off, which is really cool to see because I love talking with the guys anyways. We talk a ton. So then having it live and having people into it, we're on Twitch 2 days a week and then pre-recorded episodes on YouTube once a week, audio everywhere.
You guys have a schedule that you do the show?
Yeah, every Tuesday and Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's over on Twitch.
From the Stash.
Yeah, and then we've got Top Buds. So me and Pigeons are kind of like the kids of the crew, and we just act a fool. And Top Buds is our like not so it's cannabis related, but it's not as much. Session. Yeah, like we talk about all sorts of shit. Like we should be canceled already.
The rambling.
Yeah.
It's the late session.
Reaction videos.
Yeah, we'll watch reaction videos and like so we don't live anywhere near each other, so we set it up. If people don't realize, we set it up with green screen. So and we've got a guy who designed the background, so it looks like we're in the same spot together and shit. And so we'll act stupid and goof off. And we've got Wink on the ones and twos. Shout out to Wink. He's our main man for technology and production and stuff for the company. And we just talk crazy shit and have fun and act a fool. We'll like talk about things that are political that people will flip out about. But most of our audience is mature enough that they don't get upset and they don't trip out, especially when we end it by P usually disagrees with me and I don't agree with him, but we both don't hate each other by the end of the episode, because that's how adults have communication.
The thing you've said over and over and over and over is communication and conversation and talking and sharing information. And that's exactly what it is, man, is plugging into that community and just sharing. And you guys, I love the way that you guys are doing it because you're doing an even more like a larger span approach than what we did. We did a couple of small things and branched out like, hey, I don't really care who listens to what. Like if you can make a connection with one person to help them, with one thing, with one plant, then you've given back to the community.
Yeah, like that. And that was the big thought process too, is to kind of just do what can we do to help people. And we came up with another show on Cannabis Lifestyle TV called Dank Deezer Boof. I see the chat talking about it, where we go to dispensaries and check out the hottest shit on the menu. And is it dank? Is it Dees? Or is it Boof? We've only had one dank, and that was from Boco. It was Franklin Fields. They're killing it over there. Like very high quality. The price was solid. And I know there's dank out there. The problem is it's the big brands in the hot. Like we were just saying before, the ice cream cakes, the ones that people want. So we go and try these, and I'm like, this sucks. And the one that we don't put on the video is usually the one that's pretty good, the one that no one cares about.
Rob, how much boof is there, though? That's what people want to know.
Majority of it is boof because it's pretty in a bag, and it probably produces well, and it's easy to grow, and it's got a lot of variables from a business standpoint that makes sense. And a lot of these people who are in this are in a business standpoint. They need to have an ROI, but it's like eventually the consumer is going to decide that, hey, I'm paying $60 an eighth from here to fucking Las Vegas because I see it. Like it's crazy. All the way to Planet 13, $60 an eighth is just the average. So it's got to be some dank. I want some terps. I want the flavonoids. Why? 80 in Chicago. And you got to get it from the phone on the internet in the dispensary. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
You don't even get to see a picture that somebody photoshopped. That's like it's just I can't
The
stand it.
tint's all
'Cause I
off on
grow
it and
my
shit.
own, so I don't need to do this shit. I do it because I can't stand the consumer has to go through this when they don't have any bud or when they can't grow. You know, and with the MCMA cracking down so hard on the growers, which is just fucking ridiculous, it makes it so there's more people going to dispensaries. And where do you navigate to? Google or Instagram or Weed Maps, one of these places. And they're going to dictate what's popular based on consumers. But these consumers are usually not as knowledgeable because they're just buying the product that's hot. So I hope that the show can kind of steer people towards the better thing. And boof is going to be something that's pretty and has zero flavor to it. And I'm not getting stoned. Like 2022, flavor should not be a conversation, or like getting stoned on your shit should not be a conversation. Like you should be getting baked.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So flavor should be, and terpenes should be a big thing. And the look is like,
I was gonna say some of it is boofy just off rip, bro. Sometimes you spot a boof from
that.
a
What was that?
and,
Cat
and I will say,
pissy,
like, I
nasty
feel like
shit.
Dank
Sometimes you just spot a boof, he says.
It's trust me. Yeah. But there's some, your homie's pulling out some shit and you try it's really bad when it's that. You're like, oh yeah, that's not bad, man. You know what I mean? So
But it's not $80. It's not $60, you know.
No. And it's one thing if it was decent for $30 or $25.
Right,
but
$25 for the eighth, you know what I mean? But you should still at least get stoned. It can't just
at
be
least
pretty.
get stoned.
And again, I said a buddy. Like me and Rob are, you know what I mean? We don't barely charge each other for our personal smoke towards one another. You know what I mean? Well, and that's if I can get Rob to give me a couple of nugs. The Gromies know what I'm talking about.
I thought you were coming over today. I had you set up.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, I was just gonna say I love how Dank these you do. I appreciate it. I'm not trying to take from your stash, dude. From the stash, but I was just gonna say I feel like Dainty Saboof has become like more than just a rating of weed. It's like a rating of like, oh man, that was some boof ass laid chips that they just came out with. You know what I mean? Like our whole community has turned it into like a whole thing. So that's just cool to see.
We've been muted this whole time. Oh fuck.
Oh hey.
Oh, you had something to say? I heard you a minute ago. I swear. Maybe I'm tripping.
Welcome to the Roast Show Live, Red and Becca.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Whoa.
The weed's working. That's what matters.
Right.
No, we have a
That's
new
what fucking-
computer. We have a new computer.
I hate technology so much.
Oh, it happened again. It's coming through the computers.
I've spent way too much time and money on technology, and it still screws me constantly. Like I've got the most expensive audio amongst the team, and I always have the worst.
But bro, I was just gonna say it's probably literally just because we're here. You know, ever since we started like our lives on YouTube, like it's just been one boofy audio situation after the other, and it doesn't matter. Rob has a damn near $1,000 audio setup. I don't want to go into all the PTSD I have with this damn microphone. So yeah,
it sounds good today.
I thank you, but let's not
knock on wood.
100%. But I was gonna say, bro, you usually say this, and because I've heard your spiel before, but a big thing of as far as like Cannabis Lifestyle's inception was like getting more people's knowledge out there to better their grow and influence them to grow, because the ability of you coming across some dank is a lot more probable if it's in your hands. Even in your guys' opening, I saw Terra Nation there. She was down up in there with her plants, getting up on them. That type of care with plants makes a difference 100%. And I think people want to know how, and there just wasn't like a huge, like Rob said, efficient population of information as far as how to accomplish that. And so we've kind of been able to do that, where now, bro, we do see these people coming back and trying to better their gardens and finding us. It's a little, things take a little bit of time. Sometimes humans are slower than we want to be.
Well, dude, most people in the community grow better bud than us, I swear. Like
100%.
They skipped through the entire process of trial and error and got to watch it on YouTube. And then they're like, okay, I don't do this. I don't do this. I do this. Boom. And they've got 2 years, maybe 3 harvests even. And it's like everything's immaculate. It's like it's just like a recipe. Like I said before, you don't have to be an expert chef to follow a recipe.
But I mean, I think, dude, think about it too. When you and I are talking about you and I met at the grocery store, that was all we had. There was no Ron and Trev on the internet, you know, for us to go click into. I mean, dude, I remember that one boofy video, again, I'm gonna say it, of the guy like taking 3 hours to tell me how to transplant a plant. I'm like, bro, he's like in his kitchen, he's over here, he's got Kool-Aid on
Eating
the
food
counter.
half the time.
I'm
It's
like,
like,
what are we
No.
doing? You know, like all I want to know is like, is this okay? And like, so yeah, I think cutting a lot of that, you know, bullshit out of the way allows people to absorb the information. And, you know, I've seen it at the grocery store. People are like, oh, Trey, I thought you were in Canada. I'm like, no, I'm right here in front of you. But, you know,
I've had that a
cool.
few
I'm
times.
glad
I
you
know.
found, you know, whether it was me physically in person or our actual video to help you get to now you're growing. And there's just more of a, you know, percentage of somebody running into the good bud if there's more people growing good bud. So,
Exactly.
Fuck yeah. I selfishly kind of, it's a big reason why I always try to push people to grow good, because it's like, listen, if I run out, I can't stand that I get these fucking mids so often. Like, why? And it's 9 times out of 10 it's genetics, and that's the problem, is people get tripped up on that stuff. But it's like, until we started putting out our content, I feel like there was a big misconception, and I wouldn't say it's just us. There's a lot of people,
yeah,
obviously,
no.
but the people who are watching us that we engage with, there was a big misconception that they were missing the secret sauce, or there's something that all of us growers are holding back behind a paywall, something like that. You know, it's like you got to have the 3-a-light, you know, or some sort of thing to make it so you're really having the results. And it's just a misconception. And nowadays, with so much information out there, the big factor is good genetics, and then the basic foundation of growing, knowing your micro and macronutrients, and treating the plant properly. You know, you can go hard and get really deep into science and still do great if that's your hobby, but not everybody wants to do that. Some people just want to follow the recipe and make good food. You know, it's the same thing with weed.
So you guys have been growing for over 10 years. I know that, right? So what do you think has been the biggest advancement since you guys first started out? Like, what were you using when you first started out, as opposed to now? What are you using that you wouldn't give up or wouldn't even think about using, as same as when you started? Like, is it LEDs
Everything.
or is it like
Technology for sure. Like, just
Yeah.
the AC Infinity freaking AKA Skynet has blown my freaking mind with all the stuff they've put out. Like, I mean, next level technology for the home grower, and I'm flabbergasted with the stuff that they have. And then you've got LED technology too, where it's been around, but it hasn't been so much for the consumer in terms of price point and feasibility of purchasing. Now you've got lights from here to China, well, most of them from China, but that are very affordable, and you can get and use and get great results for a very affordable rate, and less use of electricity on the earth. And there's a lot of benefits to technology now that make it so the consumer and the grower can have things at a more affordable rate, better ROI, and a better end product because of the technology.
Do you use all LED, or are you like mixed spectrum? Like I know a lot of those growers. Like, do you guys follow Lovin' in Her Eyes on Instagram?
I don't.
Okay, check out her
I
page,
do.
Lovin' in Her Eyes, and she does a crazy mixed spectrum of like LED, and she does CMH and HL or Jesus Christ, I can't think of it. Anyway, she does all of it, and I just gets these crazy trichomes. And so I've just been kind of wondering if maybe there isn't something to that mixed spectrum. But then again, you're also getting those high fucking prices from all the
that's the downside,
especially CMH, and anyway. So you guys are all LED now? Switched over to all LED then?
I was gonna say that sounds cool, but I don't know if I want to pay for that experiment. You know?
Yeah, you were kind of doing that though, Trey.
I don't know.
You were kind of doing that with the mixed, the pattern that you had at the larger grow for the first run with the Wi-Fi. Yeah, the Wi-Fi run, and that honestly, I'd have to say that shows
that was a transitional period. Like
it was not by choice. That's what you had.
We're both in HID, or a high pressure sodium light. I never ran thousands. I know,
I did
1,000 watts.
I had 1,000 watt in a parabolic
it's
hood.
just
Anybody
I was
have one of
even
those?
too frugal back then. I'm like, how much? Nah, I'm gonna run with the 600, homie. You know what I mean? And not like you're saving anything, but in my head it sounded better, And on top of the fact of like heat issues and everything else, and I ran them for a long time. I mean, of the two of us, I'm the stick of the mud. I mean, I'll admit it. I got an old soul, and it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix that shit, So, just because of who my personality is, I kind of I'll let people run out there, and if they get fucked up, then okay, I'm gonna sit in the tree line
and wait until he
learn
figures
from
out if
their
it's safe.
mistakes.
Well, like honestly, I didn't switch to LED until we got a sponsor that sent me an LED, and I still wouldn't have paid $1,000 for it. But I was like, holy shit, this is amazing. The end result, like I switched to CMH before I switched to from HID. So I still had a little bit of the additional, I'd say, trichome advantage or some of the spectrum advantage, but I was noticing the big difference in terms of my yield compared to my 1,000 watt. I went from 1,000 watt HPS to 600 watt, then down to 315 CMH. And while my quality was there, I noticed the density wasn't quite as solid. I did have to bring the light a little closer, so the coverage wasn't quite as good. And there was just variables that made it so I'd have to use more light, so I'd have to spend more overall on the monthly bill if I incorporate more electricity in there. So I was like, maybe I'll try the LEDs. And after I had the one for free, I said, screw it, and bought two. And then now I keep getting them from companies. Shout out to the companies who send them. I don't have any room for them, but it's really cool to have technology now that I wouldn't say it's self-sufficient because it's still using electricity, but it's not as draining on my pocket and on the earth, because I feel like
and you're
that's
not
the
changing
argument.
bulbs all the
And
time
bulbs
and shit.
and just overall everything about it, I get better results. But I feel like I'm trying to be more conscious too of like my consumption from the earth overall, trying to be more sustainable in the process. So it's cool to see the advancements in technology and in sustainability and the grow that is making it easier for people to do that.
Man, the guy that taught me how to grow had all HPS down there, 1,000 watt HPS, and it was hot as shit. And I was paying the electric bills, dude. So I was like not loving it at all. So finally I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. So I actually just bought some blurples off Amazon and just kind of researched, some affordable, actually good, well-reviewed blurples from this company called Bespa. And I got some of those and I brought them home, and the guy that taught me was like, what the fuck are those? I was like, well, I think that it would be better on the electric bills, and all these things that I'm reading on the internet said that LEDs are the wave of the future for growing cannabis and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, okay. And he just kind of laughed at me, and I'll never forget. And those might not be the best, LEDs that are out there. And of course I graduated to some better, HLGs and whatnot, but I think that LEDs have really definitely become where it's at.
I hate those people who discourage the growers. That was a big thing why I got into this too, is there was a lot of assholes in blogs and forums who were really rude to new growers. And it's like, hey man, this guy doesn't even know the basic thing is how to say trichome right. They call them triclones or trichromes or also, and but people are grilling them and just treating them like shit. So they won't post anything. It's like the kid who's embarrassed to raise their hand at school.
Keeping people out of your hobby.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you trying to pigeonhole us as a community into this group of toxic douchebags? Because that's not what we are. But there's a few people who they can talk with their friends, and tonality is tough in text, so it comes off really brash. And they mean well. They just come, I've got buddies who call me, they see me flip me off, like, what's up, bitch? I'm like, what's up, man? Like, that's a weird way to say hi, but hey, that's how we talk, whatever. Yeah. It's a dude thing, I guess. So it's
what though, the cannabis community, we've kind of overturned that in the last 10 years though, because you're right. Earlier you said that whole hiding shit behind the paywall and 3 a light, dude, that was like crazy. Spot the fuck on for like 2012, man. That was a big deal. And now, man, you know what I'm saying on all this? Like,
remember when the world was ending in 2012, bro?
Yeah, that's why people would try 3 in a light then.
Yeah, buying calendar shit.
I remember in 2000 the world was ended, supposedly.
Yeah, no shit. But people still have water from then.
Yeah, but it's gotten to the point now where like we've kind of overcome that trend though, and we are all about sharing the information and not putting like bad info out for people just to make them fail. Just because you wanted to be that kind of grower.
Like, who wants to just be the only good grower out there and everybody wants your bud?
That was 10 years ago, though. Big time.
And then you never have any for yourself. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's that toxic culture is just people everywhere. Every group has it, but it's like, because it was so taboo at one point with this industry, there's only a few places to find them. And it's going to be where the internet trolls hide. They're going to be lurking over there. Now it's opening up more, and you see faces of people, and you hear about their family, their life. And it really changes the process to the point where people are really connected. You see that. I always say, like, our common ground is the plant, and then there's so many other layers that bring us together more. And once people find that common ground at the plant, you usually get past the ego, and we just like, hey man, I want you to grow good, I want to grow good, like that's what it needs to be, you know. But unfortunately, a lot of people have a selfish mentality. It's like, I want you to grow as good a bud as you possibly can, whether you like the same terps as me or not, you know.
Well, sometimes it's a matter of I can already be sitting on fire in my garden, but I'm not unlocking everything that I can get out of my plant because of some rookie mistakes that I'm making. But it's by sharing information and listening to shows like you and stuff that, you know, or seeing an example on how it's supposed to be done and just going, okay, cool, I can do this.
Oh yeah, man, I appreciate that.
And it's nice to have, you know, there's room for a million shows because it's great to get everybody's perspective on things, right? You never know what you can. I don't watch TV at all anymore. I'll watch fucking YouTube shows, but I watch 15 different perspectives on how to do one single grow because goddamn it, I'm going to learn something probably from each of those 15 videos. There's gonna be something in there that I'll be like, God damn, that's a good idea. And I might try it in my garden or something like that. So I just
nothing else. It might give you a different understanding of the plant or what its potential is by learning a different method and being like, oh shit, well, there is more than one way to skin a cat.
Well, if somebody's approached me, it may vibe with you better. You know, that was my thought process with CLtv. I'm like, let me hit all these different demographics, so to speak, that'll resonate with different people, you know, because not everybody's going to want to hear some, you know, urban dude or some country guy or some rocker person. Like, it just depends on the audience and the person there, whatever resonates with you. Yeah,
that's all.
So I always endorse, like, in our community, we've probably got a dozen or more people who started YouTube channels and started making content, and I endorse the hell out of it. I tell them how to do little this and that, editing programs, tips and tricks for all sorts of shit, because like I want everybody to succeed. We've brought on people from our community who are now part of our actual content team who are just viewers. So it boils down to the camaraderie we have is going to grow us beyond the platform. So we don't have to worry about YouTube shutting us down or Instagram or any of these things. We're all larger than that because we're all connected. If one person goes down, it's not the end because we could bring them back up because we're all working together. You know, but there's for a long time, there was this separation amongst all the content creators where nobody talked to each other. They knew about somebody, but they never engaged. And now it seems like everybody knows everybody. It's getting a lot more open, you know?
Let's start singing It's a Small World.
That's not right. Good for everyone, I think. Definitely.
Yeah, and the viewer just wins. So that's the main thing. Is somebody watching is like, oh, this is awesome. I watch these guys over here. Like, this is information I didn't get because this is an audience I never saw. Like, Chris does an amazing job, Mr. Grow It, of bringing people in the community that I haven't even come across. Painted Lady, prime example. And I'm like, who is this? This is amazing. What is going? Mark from Perfect Gardens. I see him popping in. It's like just like that. I literally have discovered people that I communicate with on a regular now via collaborations on the internet. So it's like, I love where we are now in this industry.
It is really cool. I started watching all of these shows, like from Dude Grows to Rasta Jeff's show, you know, Grow From Your Heart, and your show. I just started consuming everything. I started with this really, this older guy on YouTube called The Grateful Grower. I don't know if you guys know him. Remember that dude?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know, dude. He went to like fucking Canada or Colorado or something.
He's been off the air for several years now.
Man,
a lot of guys get jobs. Guys or gals get jobs, and they just like Grow Mouse, prime example. He's working with HLG. We're like, where's he at? We see him at fucking MJ BizCon, and he's like, hey, I'm making new content soon. I'm like, what? This is crazy. It's like, this is where you've been the whole time, you know? Yeah, like it's old news at this point, but it's like,
so did you watch
old content?
Oh, yeah,
it's content from long ago.
I know he's an OG. GrowTube. That's where I for Broly, actually, where I met him. That's where I met Pigeons.
Yeah.
Like GrowTube, man. Doggo's the homie. I talk with Doggo all the time. And Vader.
We get for Growly on here. He's in the chat tonight, but you know.
I know he was the one telling me about some dank hash. I need to link up with him. I love some good bubble. Love it. And some rosin. Just non-solvent. That's my shit.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Are you still rocking that headbanger?
Oh yeah, I still grow it. I hate it. I love it. I love the smoke. I hate the grow. It like the breeder, shout out Carbon Genetics. He sent me a Sour Diesel BX3. And I'm so excited to grow it. I was like, cool, this is gonna be the better grower of headbanger. He's like, she's a finicky one. I'm like, oh fuck. All right. So all he said is the dank finicky ones, but the terps, man. I love the fuely, funky gas terp, the pine, not leaning too much on the sweet, just solid danky funk. And this one hits it hard, man. I love it.
Didn't you like headband, Skilbo? Weren't you rocking the headband for?
I get the headlights from the start, which is that's headband.
I think
Lights.
Ballister's a big headband fan.
Yeah, I love the 818 headband. I mean, it's in the sour melon nowadays. I grew the 818 for years, and now when I found that sour melon, it had a little bit more taste than the 818. I've been hooked. I cannot get rid of that strain. I'm going to keep it for life now.
Oh yeah,
I love anything with a good pine. Anything with a good pine.
That piney funk. I'm just not into the sweet stuff or the fruity stuff so much. Like a lot of people are, and it's great. Me personally, I'm not a huge fan.
What's your new favorite
right now?
White truffle, I'm loving. I'm
loving
it. I fucking really like it. Trey
That's
was like,
one of my top ones. What do you think about the high on that one?
It's definitely got a nice behind the eyes, kind of cerebral kind of high. And for me, I do a lot of meditation and like try to get my mind right in that area. And I feel like it's one for me that I don't get too lethargic, but I still feel that nice relax, like I have a nice heavy blanket on me, It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good description. What about GMO stuff that funk? You guys like that?
I've come across one tasty GMO. Trey knows. We've had so many that are called GMO that are not. They're GMO.
Oh man.
I think
GMO.
I actually have some GMO in the garden right now, and it's a cross, but still, it's a long flowering strain to get her just where you need her to be, and even then, the phenotype you come across ain't always that one.
Yeah, we've passed around the real one for a while.
And I feel like
come see you guys.
It's just like a Gorilla Glue. There's things that get so run out that it's it's almost that's where on our lives and stuff we get really into the hunt. Yes, Rob has his headbanger. Everybody apparently knows he has a headbanger. You're gonna have to get.
It's almost like a joke. I know everybody's like, take a shot when he says headbanger.
Yeah, yeah. So
it's that medicine though, man. It's the flavor that you want.
I would just say people must be bitter that I found my favorite one. I found my keeper.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though, Rob. You can't let them hate on you because that's what we're all talking about. You're doing what we did. You found your keeper. That's what we're all looking for as our keeper too. So
I'm saying I found my wifey.
You just happen to find it in the first 10 years packs rather than the 40 years packs away.
Yeah, it took me 10 fucking years, but I found her, and she's better than 10 years isn't too bad.
No,
Miss Pickle. I might have her in Miss Pickle. We'll see.
Miss Pickle.
I have a Ethos Lilac Diesel that has sweet pickle terps.
Oh,
so
that might be up Pigeon's alley right there. The old pickleback.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now, Trey, what is your keeper right now? Because I know Wi-Fi was me and you. We bounced that one around.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi was nice, but
loved her.
I'm on the hunt right now. We're doing another run of that Grease Monkey, another one that we kind of had boofed out before. And what I was gonna say about the GMO, and I think Rob agrees with me for the most part. And like GMO is one of my favorite extract strains, and because my first experience with her was in that extract form, and she was just so aggressive in a good way. It was like when I had the flower, it just didn't get to that same level for me. But again, it's all preference. But I like that Grease Monkey. We're gonna give her another go because she was really tasty that first run, and then the Melonade. I don't know. I was not expecting to be impressed by that because she was some snarly, almost snickle fritzy looking stuff, but she was pretty tasty. And like Rob said, we have always grown and smoked for flavor or consumed for flavor. I think the entourage effect is huge. We've had the homie Rick Thompson on the channel a couple of times who I met at my very first Cannabis Cup, out there pushing CL before anybody knew who the hell we were. I ran into Rick out there and, it's been nothing ever since. He's a cool guy. But he, on an interview, was talking about by the time you get the weed on your tray and you're breaking it down and the aroma of the terpenes are hitting your nostrils, like that's a part of the experience. That's that entourage, a part of that kind of meditation for your medication. And so Rob's found that one in the headbanger, and I'm kind of on the hunt for what that might be for me. But I'm also kind of into a whole bunch of different flavors, which goes back to me being a chef, at the core. And so I like to introduce a whole bunch of different flavors, and mixed terpenes and paired terpene profiles, especially at our infusion events. Elevated Social's been rolling 2 years strong, doing kind of marrying cannabis and culinary together for a experience for our members. That's kind of I like to say not done like anybody else can do. So just putting that out there as well. That's a whole experience in itself and goes along with the entourage effect of not just like tasting weed in your food or having weed affect you in the consumable form, but also getting those terpene profiles can really open up your whole experience in your endocannabinoid system.
Yeah. Well, and like in that sense too, everybody's gonna have a different reaction. You know what I'm saying? What one person likes, another person won't like. So it's always hard to say, here's the one you should get. You know, I always try to describe what I like and say, if you're into this, you're definitely gonna want to try Headbanger. But if it's somebody who's like, yeah, that footy shit, that like I don't want that nasty stuff. I want something sweet and nice, mild.
Or I don't want something that makes me sleep, or that sort of feedback is nice too.
Well, like ever since the old Rona came around, I've been having more streams at night. So I have a couple more brewskis and I'm chilling. And I realized I'm like the guys who smoke bud that aren't there for flavor and just to get stoned. Like, and I'm always talking shit about those, but I'm that with beer. I'm drinking all this light shit, like this nothing stuff.
Water.
And most people are drinking, just water, and most people are drinking like craft beer and real, something deep. And I like craft bud. I like craft cannabis. I want stuff that's very unique, and it's not going to be for everybody, maybe not, but I really, really like it because it's my particular flavor. It's not a Bud Light. I don't like Bud Light, but I like to drink Bud Light. So it's totally different,
I think it's got a lot to do with tolerance too. I mean, as you smoke, you build your tolerance. So you got to smoke more. And if you got to smoke more, you're spending more time with it. And then you have to taste that stuff. I mean, at the beginning, when you're taking one toke and you're getting high, it doesn't really matter what it tastes like because you're only taking one toke. But if you got to go through a whole joint and then do another, half of one,
Yeah, this is a good
it
example.
better taste good.
This was a sample we got. I'm not gonna shout out who the vendor was because this is as far as I could get on this bad boy. I couldn't get through it. I gotta smoke something else. You know what I mean? It's got to be,
yeah. I've got a lot.
I don't like wasting
weed,
weed, but like it's just I can't do it.
Wow, that's bad.
So that's boof?
I mean, there's a lot of boof out there. Boof out there.
So what are you gonna do with it now, Red?
I got the rating system.
Compost it.
I've like straight up.
I dissected one and I tried to figure out where all the keef was coming. It was like filled with keef and stuff. I was
He's like, can I cut this
weird.
open?
Floor sweepings.
Yeah, I was gonna say they just scraped up shit at the bottom of the rolling tray. I'm like,
that's your first warning.
What it looks like.
Pretty much.
and that was again. Shout out to Franklin Fields. That was the first pre-roll I had that had flavor because pre-rolls notoriously for me. I'm like, they just put their swag. This is bullshit in here. It's all the boof trim, whatever they can't sell in a container. And no, this blew my mind, man. I couldn't believe it. I was like, whoa, there's
good ones out there. There's good ones out there.
So I think one day it's going to evolve to that. Who's buying bags of tobacco other than people who maybe are a little bit tighter financially, or jars of tobacco? It's pre-rolled or pre-put together. Us hardcores are going to buy flour, but the masses of people are going to get pre-rolls and pre-done things.
Just like coffee, man. Just like coffee. People that are real coffee connoisseurs, man, they want this shit freshly ground.
They'll go get beans. Even. Yeah, they're like,
they'll get their own beans. They'll have them. You know what I mean? Oh, you got to roast them at this temperature for this time to bring out the full body of the bean.
I agree.
People can't roll.
It's the number one ask for thing. Buy dispos. That's what you're asking for. Do you have pre-rolls?
Yeah, because I mean, and the thing is,
number
like
one
you think companies would make quality pre-rolls, but more and more there's just it's the micro grows or the craft grows that do it. A lot of these big corporate monsters just seem like they're not thinking about the consumer. They're just ROI. Like, all right, well, we got this much extra product. We can fill this many pre-rolls and get these out. It's not bad product. It's like, yeah, but it's not good. So why are you putting that out there? You're representing your brand with that single hit that they're taking, and they're putting that out partway through saying, and they're not going to go buy the flower. We went out and did a tour of Franklin Fields and went and I bought like 2 Z's from the Boco. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it was quality. Like, that's what it boils down to. Get some good shit and people are going to buy your product. But the problem is getting the product out there to the consumers, and it's always easy when the giant guy with, a colorful bag is putting it out there that's somehow better. But it's not until they come home and smoke it, and they never try the other shit. They just smoke that and think this is the industry average.
Marketing, the big guy marketing is what people are buying.
Get a rapper to talk about it, and you might blow up.
There you go.
There's
exactly.
There's some that have good bag appeal. beyond the booth, right? This is like the top 1% or something, on the shelf. Let's say there's 30 varieties on the shelf. You might have some that have the smell lacking in the bag appeal. You might have some that have the bag appeal, but for some reason, all the ones that have the bag appeal, they kind of smell the same.
Yeah.
Even though they'll have like completely different genetics, they all just kind of have this like cheesy, almost like white cheddar popcorn kind of like funk to them. I'm not sure what it is, if it's part of the genetics or if it's just part of just like
Is one of your arms numb, Red?
what. Yeah, I know, right? You get in like a weird lump smoking this shit. I don't know what it is, but like no, yeah. There's a good like 1% that's got both qualities, tied together. Good smell, good that, but it's a good grower. You know what I mean? It's tied to that specific grower. It's not really tied to the genetics. We could have a couple of the same genetics. But consumers buy everything anyways. The stuff that I would think would smell mediocre, somebody else is going to go, oh, I love that, let me get that. So it's all subjective really at the end.
Some people like horrible smelling flowers. Some people like fruity smelling flowers.
Or maybe my senses are all fucked up, and I did
They just don't know what they're
COVID
smelling
last year, so maybe my sense of
good.
smells all fucked up. But yeah,
well, I say often, like, if you've never had a filet mignon and you've been having just cheap steaks forever, like, you may be like, no, it's good, man. It's
right.
like, well,
You don't know where the bar goes.
That's called Whopper life, baby.
Yeah, try it. If you've got the poverty taste, man, maybe you try a little something different. Like, I grew up with Hot Pockets and shit. I realized there was better things than Hot Pockets, and now I don't really have them. Which sometimes I do.
Tenders.
Then you go to chicken tenders, and it's like, what are Hot Pockets? And you don't know.
I really think that when either our bordering states legalize or it federally legalizes, when that happens, quality will raise, because right now quality can stay low, because I think this is just me thinking, but because they won't ever split it up. But I wish they would show the sales data from in-state and out-of-state, because I would say that out-of-state is over 50% of the sales in the state.
Oh yeah,
and they'll take whatever they can get. It's not like they're being picky. They're taking whatever they
I
can
haven't
get.
looked at data, but just based on customer interaction, basis, I'd say that definitely be true.
Well, just remember, when I was driving up here, every 4 to 6 weeks, hitting all those different dispos. I mean, I'd spend all day driving and taking it all back to Ohio. So
the Terra Tour.
I was one of them people.
Allegedly, right?
Allegedly.
It's
that was not my car. That wasn't my
really
car.
common.
Allegedly.
That was not me in the slow lane.
Well, we will see a shift at that point too, because once there's other people growing, the supply and demand will change, because the demand will be like, wait, there's good butter here. I don't have to do that. And then the shitty stuff, like, it's just going to be sitting on the shelves, Like, there's been recalls.
There's a market for that too, man. There's a bottom market.
I was just going to say, there's been recalls and stuff like that, but I bet you that bud doesn't all get destroyed, because there's those trap guys who will take it, turn it, distill it, add some terps, and put that in a cart and send it out from a cart they bought on eBay or one of these places there that has a brand from California. Like, it's really common that people, they just don't care about the consumer, because no matter what, if something has a free market or a black market or is illegal, it's always going to be some turds in the bucket. It happens.
Yeah, man. Profit poop.
It's tough, because then people shop based on price a lot of times. So
of course,
they're going to get what they can get.
Well,
so
especially your patients. You think about somebody that's a patient. Okay, they're already on a fixed income. If they're really fucked up, man, like, you're already on a fixed income. You don't have a lot of money coming in, and you obviously are too sick to grow your own. So you're kind of at the mercy for other people to, help you, whether it's a caregiver, but the way that they keep trying to fuck around with things, with the whole fuck the MCMA shit, is I want to see where more people have access and everything flows. Like you're saying, is we should be able to drive this bottom market out through competition, but we'll see how that actually works.
I'm not even mad at the bottom. I'm fine with the bottom market being there, but I don't want them to drive. I think there's room for all levels of the market. I think the answer for us, as far as like the big interests and the MCMA and even a patient, I think the answer is what we all do is we just have to fight the ignorance out there that has been ingrained in our schooling and in our culture. And the people who are making our rules, they went to the same schools and they believe the same thing. So it's just a matter of doing what we're doing, getting the word out. It gets tedious sometimes correcting the same exact things over and over again, but it's God's work, man. It's God's work, because if no one does that, then those old ideas are passed down and believed forever. So you got to break that, and you got to get out there and you got to talk to people.
We've finally gotten most people to believe at this point that, you don't have to smoke a joint yourself, but you just have to recognize that it helps other people.
Well, just home grow. I mean, I just try to encourage everybody to home grow. Just get one plant, because once somebody does it, they're gonna get hooked. It's just such a fucking amazing hobby. Sure. And then once you start fucking getting good bud and enjoying it, and it helps you physically, and you see the medicine of it, it's hard to have any bad feeling towards it. I think that's what I find is like with my RSO, when you heal somebody, when you help heal somebody with a plant with no side effects, that really changes not only their mind, but all their family members around them's mind. You know what I mean? All people that could have been dead set about it, when somebody's foot was at death's door and they come back from that, you make a lot of believers.
Or people that are trying to use it as an
you made with just your roll on. They're not even feeling high, right? They're not even getting high from it, and they're getting pain relief.
Exactly. Well, that's what it is. There's so many more people through diet and everything else, is they deal with more inflammation, which leads to more pain. You know what I mean? And you can't just sit there and eat Motrin all day. You'll just kill the enzymes. Your liver will be all fucked up. Don't do that. So you've got to find relief somehow, some way. You just have to, like I said, you just have to realize that there is enough of this plant out there and enough people to grow it that we should have access for everybody. It shouldn't even be an issue anymore in 2022, because it's not 10 years ago.
It'll forever be an issue, but we can just forever grow.
Yeah, well, there's people who literally would give away. They'd sponsor people. They'd give free bud, but we have restrictions on how many patients you could have, and then we got assholes who are trying to restrict that even more. Like there's legitimately people I know, myself included. I've got flower. I don't want to put my name on it because I don't love the product. It's just not phenotypes I love. Looks pretty. If it's on Instagram, it looks great. But if you smoke it, you'd be like, "Who's this? This is Rob from Cannabis Lifestyle TV." No, it's not. Okay, but I would gladly give it away. You know what I'm saying? Because like, there's people who have that shit. They have a run. People who have extra flower and like, fuck it, man. This shit is kind of at its tail end of me giving a shit about it anymore. I don't even want to smoke it. I've got pounds. I'm good. I've got another harvest coming, or I've got all this outdoor. Like, yeah, I'd gladly go do it. But you run into issues where can you do that comfortably without getting potentially raided? Because I don't think you can. They say, yeah, it's legal to just give it away. But I know that at some point you'd get fucked with because it's cannabis. So why can't we just do this and help our fellow consumer, our fellow citizen, our fellow person to help their mind, body, and soul with a product that's not hurting anybody? But we have these weird restrictions that make it so we have to still keep it taboo in some areas and keep it underground. Michigan's really lucky that we've got the laws we do, because other places I've seen and deal with online, like, it blows my mind that the stuff they go through, where even like pigeons, where a lot of people can't grow where he lives, but it's legal, but they can't grow.
We can gift an ounce here, right?
Completely just give it away?
Yeah.
We can gift our 2.5 houses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think
do it to a non-patient, like somebody who's not your patient.
In theory,
I came from Florida, where you could.
That's
how
you
you
could
buy it, but you couldn't.
That's
grow
our
it.
adult use law. That's
that was shitty.
Oh, yeah. What? That makes less sense. You'd think it would be our medical to help people law, but I guess
right. Yeah,
to get your stone law.
Fuck it. Yeah, I'm not sure about the whole gifting thing. Oh yeah, no. In medical, you can't to nobody else.
No, because you're tied to your caregiver.
Has to go to my patients.
Yeah, see, I'm only thinking medical. Like I because I'm a caregiver and patient, I never really think a whole lot about the recreational side of things. I'm always like, oh, cool, that's right, you can grow. Whenever I'm like, oh, you got your card. They're like, nope.
Yeah, like,
oh yeah, that's right.
But
I like
just,
to think,
just because you're a caregiver and patient, you're also a rec person, so you also have
almost hashtag.
You get those on top of it, so you also have the rights of rec.
Yeah, I like to convert some of my plant count into my, or not my plant count, I should say just like my overages, right? If I have overages, I like to convert that into like
hashtag
my adult, my adult persona, and then I can say, oh, I'm an adult and I have extra cannabis. Here, have some adult cannabis.
So like adult.
You almost lost me on that. You almost lost me.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, you figured
we're
it
doing
out.
the hash time show.
But I did figure it out, yeah.
I figured out
Shame.
the audio.
Shame sequence for my black balls. Can I just point out these were not black last time I used them.
Damn! You're getting
Right?
shame sequence?
I left her with dirty
Sequence?
balls.
Yeah,
At
you
least they're
left her
not blue.
dirty balls? That's
black.
unethical. That's unethical.
Just
His
put some
never
fire
leave
to
here
them.
blue, honey. Trust.
That's crazy.
A music segue.
You owe her some dark crystal.
Cheers, everybody.
Is the music coming through?
Ooh,
Yep.
That's a big glob. What you got?
It's a little
Publicly
quiet.
shamed. Publicly called out for that. Damn. Going hard today. Exposing you on air, man. That's fucked up.
Man, it's pretty fucked up.
For the yeah,
Yeah, they're probably stuck down there, huh?
they
How's
are.
that volume?
Hey,
Look,
look,
Unusable. Unusable.
Sequence, let me ask you a question. How much would like a set of those cost?
Those balls, like $3
$12
or $4.
bucks.
So she's really bitching about a $3 item that she could just have
No,
fucking
they're-
sitting there.
All she's got to do is heat them up. They're fine.
but if I left him that way, I bet
It's
you
the
I'd clear it.
principle, Spartan.
Yeah,
It's the principle,
principle.
Spartan.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you, Baked. Thank
She
you.
wouldn't do that to his Quave.
Yeah,
What's a
Blue
Quave?
Cast-
Balls.
Blue
It's a
Cast
nice
looks like
banger
black
like I have, but a
Rico.
different brand.
Quave.
Oh, the one that doesn't need the balls.
Shout out
Yeah,
to music
yeah.
by Catachronic
She
that you can
wouldn't leave
barely
it black.
hear.
Shout
Yep.
out to
So
Yeti Trash
this
for
is
my
hash
rockin'
time,
tonight.
gentlemen. Do a little
yeah.
jig if you want.
Oh, we got
just did a
K2 coming
fat
to your
rip, man.
rescue.
Pretty
Sequence.
big.
I like it.
It was
You know
good.
what I do wish, speaking about that whole, like, I guess, wanting what more access, right? We want more access, better product available to even people who, let's say, they don't have a plug. They don't have, they're just looking to get into it. They don't have a caregiver. The ability for, like, some of these townships to not be able to restrict people from, like, setting up things like caregiver access and stuff like that, or like the whole red zone thing, or the inability for, like, what, 2/3 of the state to not opt into medical, or
Yeah,
they've
that's
opted
crazy.
out of recreational. Like, I have commercial property. It's a couple of acres. I have a decently sized warehouse facility. Parking lot. It could have parking, the whole thing. I could very
Some
easily
would say above average.
Yeah, I very easily could try to get licensed and have all my ducks in a row for everything that the state requires. My holdup is my township telling me that I can't have, and I believe that, competition breeds innovation and all of that other stuff. I have no problem being up against, large players, because I just need a small slot on a shelf and a couple of spots, wherever it might be, just to get my name out there, pay the bills, do this and that. Not like, pick up too fast and overgrow what I believe, but I do have room to expand if needed, and a lot of us small players who I believe I have moderately decent product, at least enough for the market, honestly, like I said, I can't get through some of the stuff that I even pull from the market that's there, and I can at least smoke my own stash, so at least there would be something available for people who like my stuff, or something like that.
You're being very modest.
It's very limited.
Super modest.
Very
That's the
limited.
best flower around, dude.
And usually people who
That
talk
is
that
a
way do.
wonderful grower.
It's being limited to
You know?
such an extent, and it's not it is at the state level, because, like, it at the local level, we're just bottlenecked really heavily at the local level, and it's allowed through the state, and it's, wow, man, it's just rough, because there really could be a lot more access. There could be a lot more, there could be safer products. There could be, I don't mind getting my shit tested or any of that stuff, put me in, coach, whatever I got to
Yeah.
do. I'll run laps, just put me
Well,
in.
people get it tested for a sales point too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to be able to say what's in their
Right,
product.
yeah.
So, like, yeah, it blows my mind in that sense. And me and Trey went to a city council meeting not too long, well, some years ago now. And just recently, where we live, they just finally got their first medical dispensary. in
Well, it's been
2021.
open about a year. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2021, maybe 2020. It's crazy though. And the mayor literally said, we don't want those kind of people here. And I was pissed. Like I got up and I was talking. I was like, I built half the websites in this fucking town. Like I do marketing stuff here. Like this building, I think, was built by the developers that built their website. But yeah, I guess you don't want me here. You know, like I was just pissed. Like everybody there was pissed. I couldn't believe that she had the audacity to say that. Like, and that's the problem is these old school people who control these areas who always somehow get voted because their friends are the ones voting. Consistently push this bullshit agenda of holding back the grows and holding back the consumer, because then they're like, we'll just go to the other city to get it. It's like, why would we go to the other city? So you just don't want to get money here? It makes no sense.
That would make no sense why they would even offer that. Go ahead, Trey.
I was just gonna say they force it just like in the same sense of the black market. Okay, if you can't get it, where are you gonna go? You know, people are gonna find a way. And then the same thing with a lot of municipalities, counties opting out, and only certain counties, certain municipalities green lighting unlimited. You have a situation like Muskegon or what is it, Kalamazoo, or I think Battle Creek. I don't know. There's a couple of them that are just heavy. I think Bay City was one of them because they were operated already in that already in that way. So they were like, yeah, go ahead. But you have so many of these municipalities. I think, Rob, you got up there and I think you said some shit about old white dudes or something.
Yeah,
so this
town's ran by, yeah, I was quoted me on that.
Yeah,
that's good.
Like,
I was like, this town is just
like,
ran by
not
old white
trying
dudes,
to
just
make
like
it
the
a
rest of the
racist
city.
standpoint
Like,
or an ethnicity standpoint.
but that's what it
the
is. All
point of,
gray-haired white dudes
like,
in there.
of like
Yes.
good old boys club, and they don't want to let it go.
But not the
because
kind
if
of
they
good
don't
old
have
boys club that
to-
smokes the herb, just the
Not the
old,
cool
you
ones,
know,
just
not
like
the cool.
old
ones.
Farmers.
and you
The
would
ones
be-
just trying to make money.
I
Yeah,
don't
but they
think
were
you would
voting on.
be
They wanted to have the
surprised.
breweries in and the distillery.
Beer, cigars,
problem.
you know, everything
Yeah.
else. Fast
but
food, you
It
know.
all
certain
comes down
sin
to the
taxes.
dollar. It all comes down to the dollar
Not
because
not the
Yeah.
they'll vote
It'll
no,
come
but
down from
have
that fast
financial
food.
interest. You know,
Well, usually,
it's
yeah.
a thing. So and
yeah.
so they don't want Rob, who's talking shit about their grandpa or whatever, to come in and be the one to do it. They rather have the brother-in-law Jimmy, who says, "Oh, pot's bad for you," but on the back end is burning one, or has a pole barn grow but doesn't smoke. I see those guys in and out of the shop for years. It's not uncommon, and it's really a matter of political indecency, But
Yeah, they're abusing
and
their
that's-
positions.
it's enough to make you gag.
Yeah,
Where do you
it's a big
see
reason
the
I haven't got in
future
the
of
commercial
cannabis
industry.
going?
I mean, unfortunately, to the dollar. I mean, because again, I see it constantly. As far as right now, it's just like Painted Lady. You asked us about the lights. Well, that was about 10 years ago. It took us 10 years for us, just Rob and Trey, to not bash Burple lights or whatever. That now we have these decent lights going on, and a lot more people access to that. In the same sense of now you see, hear it all the time, Michigan, you're good, you're legal, and we're really blessed to have the certain things that we do, but they botched a lot of the other stuff where you have these, highs and lows. And so I feel like you see right now, again, just that ROI, the yielders, the boof of it all, these companies that, quite frankly, a lot of them run by somebody who's never even put their hand on the plant.
Or they
I
did
mean,
like
that I think is the
twice
most
years
atrocious
ago.
thing to me. Like Red said, take one plant, or I think Spartan, one plant, take it home and grow it. Put your hand on it at least. Especially, I mean, besides the fact if you're going to put millions of dollars into something just because you think you can get it back, or and then some. Because again, I think the counteract to that is it's conversations, it's the education to the market, because the consumer at the end of the day drives that, whether it's black market or regulated market. And if the consumer knows better, if you drive that niche of the connoisseurs, the connoisseurs, that's how you make the differentiation. But I think, unfortunately, it'll take more time than we want it to. So
Yeah, I mean, I think what's going to shine is quality product. I think that craft cannabis, just like JMB says in the chat there, the consumer is going to be the one who dictates the market. Because just like look at was it Tecate? Did they buy a portion of Founders?
yeah,
I think it was like $1.3 billion. that was a small company at one point. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it can go to, because the consumer decides that's what it is. It's going to get to the point where you've got more consumerism once it's opened up and it's not so stigmatized, and people are like, man, I can smoke and no one's going to judge me about it. I'm not getting drug tested. I'm not having this, and this. And then they're going to be like, what's the hype about this? Like, I got a little buzz, but it doesn't taste that great. And then their friend has some dank and they're like, whoa, they finally see the light, so to speak. And it'll get to that point, but consumers just got to have these products. And that's where I think opening it up to more people is where it's going to happen. And once the states around us open it up, it's just going to flood more and more. Once the Midwest is just covered in green, I think it's going to really take off here, because we have an agricultural and manufacturing area. So I think it's going to be very big in terms of a financial thing once they see it, but also in terms of the consumer having great product everywhere. Like, that's what it boils down to.
It's going to be like vertical integration. It's going to be important. Like, you know how cookies, like we see cookies all over the place now, branded. Like, it's all about branding. And like, now it's going to be cultivation, dispensary, adult use establishment, and they're all going to be at one location. And do you think
like the social lounges, like,
yeah,
once that's coming into play, like Trey, I think you have one. You're going to be hosting one, an opening with one place. You're going to be down
I'll be helping with.
I'm coming too.
Some launch events going on at Kalkushka.
Kalkushka, that sounds so cool. But it's also a place, like, I think once these consumption lounges are there where people can go leave and their family who doesn't see them smoke and they sneak in like a porn shop and they can go get stoned there, it's going to be a little bit more lax. And it'll get to the point where they're like, this isn't so weird. I don't have to go in the back door.
Dude, they open up the regulations on that a little bit more too.
There's
more regulations on those clubs. It's like you can't have food. I mean, come on.
That's silly.
Well, you cannot have food. Somebody got have food. Come on now. You know.
Yeah, those regulations are wild.
All about the dollars.
You can thank the Girl Scout cookie lobbyists for them not allowing food in so that you buy their cookies instead.
Yeah, government cookies.
I'll buy the knockoffs.
I always like to dream big.
Out of spite.
I always have dreamed big, and I always dream to get like win the lotto or something and get like a ton of acreage and get this giant building like Cobo Hall and just call it a consumption club. And then just make it. You can fucking smoke anywhere in there, and then just have regular stuff like a fucking movie theater, fucking restaurants, fucking.
Better have township approval, Spartan.
No, fucking
Planet 13. Have you guys ever
have up to 70 people?
Have you been?
It's gonna be unzoned land. Unzoned land.
Unzoned. Yeah.
Gotta find unzoned.
I'm gonna have. I won the lottery.
We're gonna bring power in.
Millions of dollars to buy off politicians.
I just want the plot twist. Sorry, go
on. The drama.
Have we been where?
To Planet 13 in Las Vegas.
No.
Giant.
I've heard about it though.
That's
That's
a place.
Huge one, isn't it?
Blew my fucking mind.
Registers. It's like
they've got a like a little restaurant in there, and then they got a consumption lounge. Now they're adding next year, and so like it's all inclusive. It's the idea of what most of us want, but it's super like Chad and Brad. And shout out to all my Chads and Brads, like friends who are named Chad and Brad. It's just a stick. That's what we call these people. I don't know why, but it's very Chad and Brad, and it's like. Yeah, I like to see that, this is amazing from when I was hiding I had a fucking cassette case with mids in there to now where we're in this mall of weed, but at the same time, I'm like, this is kind of tacky, like I like it, but part of me is like, it's not achievable
corporate
for
vibes.
any of us. Yeah, very corporate vibes. It's cool as shit for the consumer to go in and just like, whoa, but when you're a grower or someone in the business side of things too, you get a little bit of a like, bitterness where it's like, man, is this what it is? Is this where we're going?
It's a tourist trap.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. It doesn't, and that's just maybe I like the craft side of things. I like going to small hole in the wall bars versus a giant club. Like it's just a personality. Somebody else would probably love that, but it's just personality wise. I like the smaller, more intimate setting personally.
Same, I do too.
You can kind of see that too in the recent years with alcohol. There's a lot more successful small craft breweries that are their own bars, and then a lot of people are going towards them. I don't drink or anything, but they'll go where I came from in Florida. They had one there that was always successful because people would rather go get, I guess, the good stuff.
Yeah, and get it right from the source, and they know the person, like the owner or the founder will walk in the place. You're like, oh shit, what up, Mike?
A lot of people
and
like
they
to buy
switched it
lower.
up. Yeah, go ahead, Sequence.
Well, I was just saying, a lot of people like to buy local. Like if they know that the farm is from their town, or if they know that the bar, is from where they're from. Or you like to have Michigan beer instead of, Ohio beer or whatever, just to support your local people.
Oh yeah,
a lot of people think that way.
I really like the model I was reading about. I think it was Kalamazoo. They're opening. It's tied to a consumption club, like what Rob was talking about, but they're calling it from seed to table or whatever, because it's a vertically integrated micro business. So it's going to be a grow, and then they're going to have the dispo and a consumption club all in one spot. And I think that's awesome.
That is awesome. That's what I hope the future of this goes. I really do.
Yeah, because then you take care of my biggest bitch about our commercial model is all the steps in between, and so the buds are getting handled in between, and it's sitting around and it's waiting, it's getting older. With it being all vertically integrated, when all the steps are like that, there'll be a lot less of that. I like that.
Oh yeah, because again, it's the quality control. Like I think that probably in the Bay, I bet you Cookies slaps. It's probably some fire. But in Michigan, it's fucking mids, and in Las Vegas, absolute boof.
I was gonna say not far.
I mean, I was so pissed. We gave him 2 chances, and it's the lack of quality control when you have another growing it for you, and they don't have the same process or style or anything. And long story on that, but main thing is I want to see more of that vertically integrated type of situations, and people who are going to have more control over the quality of their product, even if they don't have the main place. If it's another dispensary, they know that it's always dank, because it doesn't go too far from the grow, like we can trace it back to the grower.
That's what I hope. I hope the plot twist to this whole story is that all these little town red zones are just going to start opting into these little, like, at least vertically integrated micro grows or establishments like that,
I think
probably explode.
Mostly rural areas anyways,
Yeah.
That'd be pretty neat.
So what about breeders and stuff? What breeders are you guys digging on? Or what do you think are like the best new breeders that are coming out right now?
Trey?
I mean, I'm running some ethos right now. That's not anything new. But a buddy of ours has some private releases under High Caliber Genetics. Used to be underneath like Scapegoat Genetics. So, but yeah, Chris, I definitely think makes some solid genetics. I know Rabbit Hole super huge right now. If you've heard of that, that's his creation. So yeah, I've been pretty impressed with that. Between knowing him and then just seeing it do really well throughout the community.
Yeah, no, absolutely, dude. He's doing real well. He's passionate about the plant and has a lot of science behind it. I haven't tried any of his other ones though, so I want to try more than just the Rabbit Hole.
Well, I haven't grown it personally, but I did sample like some of the Full Metal Jacket that he had, that were all like chem crosses. So I know he's working on a new release right now, but I know Rob's running some from Boston Roots right now that I had gotten him and me, but I was letting him kind of taste the first crack at it. But now, didn't you say like they're working together with people on the stairs
dude.
or something?
All the people I fuck with are fucking with each other. I'm like, how do you guys know each other? It's crazy. Karma Genetics, Boston Roots Genetics, and People Under the Stairs. They all just make the funky, nasty, fuely stuff I like. It's bizarre that they all do that.
Dirty sock weed.
Dirty, socky, cushy, nasty armpit funk. I love it. I love it. I don't know why. I do. And they've some of them are collaborating now, and they're doing, and Headbangers cross with a lot of them too. But and they're also using sour diesels and things that I'm more into. So I'm excited. I'm excited for some new ones. I've got some that they're going to be sending me now. I'm getting through this Sherbanger cross. I think it's Animal Mints and Sherbanger, which is Headbanger and Sunset Sherbet. But I mean, they're very, very big on the flavor. You know what I'm saying? Terpenes and flavonoids. And that's my big focus too. Like half the stuff that I got that's really dank looking is not that dank smoking, And then the stuff that's kind of just like looks like it's 2008 is fire. Like, I don't know. Like it's weird.
But I mean, sometimes the flavors in the Uggs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The ones that
It's like better personality.
It's like that Melonade, man. She's not that pretty, but man, she's tasty. Like I'll put a little piece of it in the blunt. You're gonna taste it.
Well, I use the analogy always as like it's like being with somebody who's extremely gorgeous but has shit personality. Like, that's not the best, It's like I guess cool if you want to show them off, just like having really pretty bud, but those people get to meet it or smoke it, they're like, why are you with this person?
Is that like the Lindsay Lohan bud or something?
She probably has more personality than some of the bud that I've smoked around here, man. It just
It
depends
was a
on
Mean
what your
Girls
preference
reference.
is.
Come on, bro. Really?
I've never seen Mean Girls.
Wow. This is the first time this has ever happened to us.
That's unbelievable.
You're missing out, man.
No, not that. It's just normally I've never seen anything that he's talked about, and he's pulling to me right now.
You got
Well,
sisters.
Mean Girls is a classic.
Yeah,
I'm the only child.
Yeah, I'm female households. YouTube.
That's what I'm saying.
If it's not on YouTube, Spartan hasn't seen it. I've learned.
Yeah, he's like, I never know what you're talking about. Mean Girls on YouTube? Is that a channel?
Don't look that up.
He gets upset because
It's probably on YouTube, and I still haven't seen it.
Probably.
So, how do you guys grow? We haven't gotten into that yet. We're into the back half of the show now. I do know that you use Tupper, so you probably use some sort of bottled media, synthetic media, or salt nutrient.
Yeah, I had an organic grow I did for a little bit, and it wasn't that I didn't like it more. Just I had 2 separate grows, and I've already been using. I'm sponsored by Dutch Pro USA, so we've already got a bunch of their nutrients. And I'm a firm believer on micro and macronutrients, or micro and macronutrients. And scientists like Dr. Bruce Bugbee have backed a lot of those claims up. Is where your plant doesn't know the difference. We don't have a periodic table of organic or salt-based elements, but people abuse the shit out of salt-based nutrients. That's the big downside. Is like.
Or some of them have PGRs in there.
Yeah, or that's being an abuse too. So it's like people are really pushing it. Not everybody, but a lot of people push it hard. As we're organic, it's going to take up exactly what's in the media. This is what it is. Your microbes are going to work for you. So I realized with my process, it just works pretty good to do the bottle-based side. It's pretty easy for me. I've been doing it for years. But it's like I follow a simple routine. I don't complicate it at all. I keep it really simple. I usually follow majority of what the company will recommend, but 9 times out of 10, I go less than what the recommendation is for feeding. Just happens to be that way.
Especially the first time you run a strain, probably.
Oh yeah. And I've been doing a lot less training when I first have a cultivar. I won't do as much of the aggressive training like I would on other ones because I want to see how it's going to grow. Because some will top more, some I'll low stress train. Like it just depends on how I'm working it. Some I know are going to be great for putting it in the scrog style. Some is just going to be trellis. Like I'm like, this one, she's lanky and staircasey and doesn't stack, so it just depends. Like I've really been changing my process consistently, mainly for content. Now I'm trying to dial it in for myself because it's like, shit, I've got enough videos, even though half the people out there will be like, they don't even grow. It's like, you've only watched our live streams, obviously, where we're sitting right here on my fucking computer. But it's more the process of I like what I like, and I don't want to keep on having to manipulate my process to not get the yields and the quality of stuff that I have. I've got way more quality or way more of low quality shit, in my opinion. Very pretty, tons of trichomes, great for Instagram, just not. And I should just turn into extract. That's really what I should do with this shit. I bet you it'll be fire.
Make some good bubble out of that, Kim.
Well, we've had some basic stuff before that we've pressed, like that. What was it? Not juicy fruit, gummy bear.
Oh yeah.
And it was so tasty as rosin, but as flour, it was flat, straight up, just nothing.
I mean, it was pretty, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
essentially, you're never gonna hear me say it smoked it pretty. That's not really a thing.
Yeah. Concentrate it down though. They can taste real good.
Oh yeah,
that's what I'm thinking too.
It
Yeah.
oozed out literally like a gummy bear. It was like clear almost. It was so like crazy. I mean, and that's where certain cultivars are going to have their place of being those washable or extractable strains, and other cultivars are going to serve a better purpose, just as consumption of flour. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the most part in the process, I try to keep it as simple as possible. Like I used to really overcomplicate everything. I had a journal. I'd write down every single thing I did, which I still will keep track of big changes or of things that are a little more dramatic that aren't necessarily in the normal. But it's got to the point now where it's like the simplicity of my process is essentially feeding usually 4 times a week. I've got 7-gallon pots I use on average. Lately it's been 5 because 7s I can never find at the grocery store, or else I just grab the wrong ones because I'm high and dumb. More dumb than high. And it's like, in terms of my training, I really try to focus heavier on low stress training than topping. I used to do a lot more topping, but I just see I'm able to get more like a quicker turnaround without as much stress on the plant. And I do think it's the cultivar specific, because recently I just had this Mac Stomper. It was Mac crossed with Grape Stomper, and I did some topping to that one, and she grew great. Like she was everything about her was great, but the smoke is just nothing for me. I don't like it.
Dang.
Yeah, it sucks, and I just trimmed it too. It was just I hate trimming stuff I don't like because I'm just like.
I just saw you were in trim jail.
Yeah, I trimmed like 2 of them I really liked. One of them I was surprised by. This Gorilla Puff was super orange, like hardcore citrus orange terp. And I was like, eh. But then I smoked it and it had a little bit more of a funky fuel on a sour, fuely funk to it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, all right. This is not what I expected. Of course, I didn't clone it because I'm fucking dumb. But you know, that's what happens often is,
yeah.
You know, I'll be like, yeah, I won't like this, you know, and then I don't clone
I
it.
thought you were going to clone it for Wink.
Yeah, no, I planned on it, but I didn't.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
good job.
Yeah, I cloned so many fucking clones, and then I
now
went
2
and I looked.
people are
And I was
disappointed.
Like, A, B, C. I was like, oh shit, didn't get that one. But it's
really
really
not surprised. But I will say he's good at like.
Either. Now she's re-vegging, so let's hope I can re-veg her so I can get those pickle terps back.
Hope so.
Yeah, I've got 2 cuts that I took actually that were in flower, and they're doing good now. But it's like it just slows down the process.
Yeah,
you know?
It takes so long.
Yeah, sometimes it's barely worth it, but it's like I want to keep these genetics.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall
Trey, you
see.
pretty much grow comparable. I mean, a little different. You've got the cross collab with the hydro setup too.
For both of us, sorry.
I was gonna.
You normally do.
Oftentimes.
Rob makes a career off of his ability to talk. I tell you what, it's fascinating. No, honestly, I get a lot of the private shows people don't get, so I feel privileged. And
you do private shows?
Yeah, sometimes one-on-ones.
Is this like OnlyFans?
Something like that.
You know
Only
what?
fan
You're
leaves.
Like the 5th person to ask
Only
me to start
lifestyles.
one of those.
Only fan leaves.
Oh, man. You better get on it. I know we're working on like a from the stash calendar, like fireman style. So
Oh, it's gonna be fly.
yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing.
Gotta wait
We've
till it's
been
warmer,
talking
though,
about
so we
it
can go by
too,
Lake
but-
Michigan.
Like Adam and Eve style.
Be in front of the plant. I'll just have the plant in front of me, just like this.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We'll just put emojis over your genitals. Don't
That
worry.
works too. That's the Snapchat way.
I hear those dollar bills. Dollar bills.
That's how you take this career to the next level.
Yep.
Dude,
You know?
it's all happening right now.
So Trey, you do a little bit of hydro stuff.
His brother.
Yeah, I grow with my brother, and have over the past 3 years. Prior to that, I was kind of modest grow 4x4 tent, and I vegged majoritarily for like outdoor season. It's kind of why Rob brought me into the position that he did, because the majority of my grows initially were sun grown. So and I feel like that's a great way for a lot of people to start, super efficient, and it allows you to just kind of, watch the plant in its natural habitat, I guess. And there's ways now, especially to like get really good product off of that, where previously people may not have been able to. But I'm, typical cocoa medium with a little blend of peat moss, and I use Dutch Pro currently as well. Previously was kind of Sin Organics, used Aurora Soul line for years. It was really good to me. But yeah, I mean, it's pretty comparable. We recently have set up a 8-bucket deep water current culture system. And it's been a learning curve for sure. That's been a huge implementation of like technology between like LED switch and master controller for that, and just introducing a lot more technology to it. But it's efficient. I mean, you essentially set it and forget it. It's just a lot of filling water, once a week. So, but it's interesting to watch the plant in that state versus in like a medium, because it's sitting right in its food. So, I mean, they go from to blown up areas, so that's been super interesting to kind of observe and learn from. So,
Do you run into extra humidity issues because there's so much more water in the system? Overall,
not really. We have it set up in a 8x8 tent, so we're able to keep that pretty controlled, at least. And these fine months. You know, in Michigan, we love the cool months, right? Because it keeps the
low
grow
humidity
cool.
too.
But yep, not too big of an issue. I mean, in the summer, we probably won't be running how we are now, but no, it's been a good couple runs thus far. And trust me, had you talked to me, what, Rob, probably half a year ago, I would have been, fuck hydro, that's the devil. I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
You were that way.
Yep.
I think there's a application for every media, every way to grow. It's all preference. There's no
we've
wrong
got
way.
a diverse panel here. Everybody does a little bit of a different thing.
And I bet you if you bring the end product, it's all dank. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna be like, oh, this tastes salty, or this tastes very watery. Was this done in hydro? Like, you know, if something's missing, it's because it's missing the essentials. You know, that's really.
This one tastes like backwater.
Yeah, like I don't know. This is very deep water culture-y. You know, it's like I remember I've had friends say that. Like again, that's the only reason I decided to do the organic run is because there were so many people who'd be like, "Well, if you like flavor, Rob, quit growing how you do. You need to get organic." I'm like, "Have you grown synthetic?" They're like, yeah, horrible. I was like, "You had a horrible run?" Like, yeah. I was like, "Then you were doing something wrong. That makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense.
Always work."
So you're just saying that bottled nutrients give bad results? No, you just grew it wrong. It was human error. You know, like I don't understand that. But getting a better result from another way just means this works best for you. So then keep that. But don't knock the next grower for how they do it. You know, it blows my
People
mind.
grow in soil for 30 years and then try a salt grow once and then fail or do a little bit worse and then be like, oh, that's no good.
Yeah.
Like, well, your
that's
experience
usually
differences.
You know what, though, as like an early grower, you have to get to the point where you have to be just as flexible as the plant is, because you're not going to just come out of the gates knowing everything and being able to identify every single problem, all the way down from, you know, like, is my humidity right to am I running the right genetics? The good thing about these groups, though, and having this community is being able to, if you find a winner, we all do get together and we all do smoke. And a lot of us have passed the genetics back and forth between us. So it's like, you know, if you're a caregiver, you're able to get your hands on
Sequence. I have citric clones going for you.
Oh, this is a
My
long
man.
time coming, man. This is like
Holy
a
cow.
year.
See, that's how it is amongst our group of like buddies too. Like there was 11 roses that Trey, we both lost, mainly because it's such a fucking leafy plant.
Bro, it's the blue glue, bro. Everybody.
The blue glue. Well, that's
Blue
the one
glue
we
is
passed
fucking
around.
great.
So
I've
there's
had this thing.
there's a few that have been so good, and we've kept it amongst each other. Where I've been like, hey, I'm not going to grow it right now, but can you keep this one around? You know what I'm saying? I may want her again. You know, let me know before you get rid of it, because I may end up taking it. Like I've done that numerous times, and then taking back one that I was like, I'm done with her. I'm like, no, I want you back. Come on, girl. It's tough. Like you always think the grass is greener on the other side when you're pheno hunting or looking for something different, and then you'd be like, man, that one I had actually was really dank. I should have just kept it. You know, it's happened to me way too many times. And again, it's the ones I usually don't clone that I'm like, this will be my last run of it, and it's the best run of it. I'm like, I should have cloned the shit out of this. I should have. Drives me bonkers. Because again, I'm a flavor chaser. Like my headbanger averages 2.5, 3 Z's on a good day, you know. But it's like, and then I could have another one that'll pull 6, 7 in the same exact conditions and training and everything. But I would way rather have that headbanger stress me out for 9 weeks than, you know, have something else that I don't like that much. I just don't like it.
But then it's a dedication to real estate too, because
that is true.
You know, unless you shove 2 more headaches in there, you know, and get you, you know, that same kind of yield or more.
I know that's the problem. Is I run into that too often.
But bro, look, whether it's, you know, your tents or the facilities we've seen, everybody struggles to find what works or what's worth the plot in their garden, you know.
Well, even at Franklin Fields, like the most fire shit, and even Matt was agreeing, was the smallest budded stuff that half the internet would talk shit about. And then the big, decently fat ass thick nugs are just like, yeah, kind of walked right by it, didn't even care, you know. But it's really pretty. It's great to show for your video, for your promotion of your place. But then this little pug's breath in the corner was just amazing. And I'm like, oh, look at this little staircase buds of dank, you know. But you got to think ROI with the business. So like you were saying, you had to fill up the room with this other one to kind of compensate for it. When you've got investors or when you've got a bunch of employees you have to take care of, it's hard to just have those super connoisseur homegrown strains. You know, that's the beauty that we can all grow on our own, is we can say, screw it, I'll have a couple of my yielders, but these are my dank ones that take care of business for me, you know. And for me, I don't need the yielders because I just grow for myself and 2 patients who also like the dank. So it's just super quick. Nice. It's a good thing the mods are on that quick. That was weird.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
I was like, y'all got some good ones.
That was quick and they're back.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't see places growing Mac 1 a lot. You know,
No. There's certain ones
much.
that just don't produce a whole lot, but they're dank that you just don't see them at the commercial grows. But then other ones, like they'll find the name again, like ice cream cake. I'm not convinced everybody has ice cream cake. But they've got purple, pretty, looking bud, then they'll call it ice cream cake, or it was, and it just wasn't the exact phenotype that was dank. But as long as they secure that brand, as long as whatever company has this brand, boom, they're good. It's like, I think soon the consumer is going to realize that's not the case. And that's the beauty of like a white truffle. It's that's a phenotype of a particular cultivar. So we're going to get to that point where people are identifying phenotypes and terpene specific things instead of just name brands.
Yeah.
I hope.
Not so long as the phenotypes are usually name brands.
Yeah.
Now.
Unfortunately.
Gorilla Glue, et cetera, et cetera.
This is the one thing I will admit. The nice thing about metric is that you can, as a consumer, if you buy something from a dispensary, you should have a metric tag on it, and it should tell you at least who fucking grew it. So even if you don't trust the strain name or any of that, at least you can tell who the fuck it is producing it. If you have a bad experience from something, you can just try something from a different producer until you find one that gets you. Like if you find something that's, generally speaking, if I find something that's fire, that's when I pay attention to where it fucking came from. I'm like, all right, I want to look at that because I want more from them.
Okay,
That's
that's
super
so true, man.
There's a lot of brands that'll be covered under one farm sometimes. So make sure you look at that metric tag.
Well, there's so many different. You're
I got
exactly
a dispo
right.
bag right here. Shout out to Nature's Relief, but you got a real. Only reason I know this is because Trey told me, because I didn't realize it was on the back because it's faded off. Michigrown, way back, like you can't even read it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like should be front and center. That should be the brand thing that sells this bag. Nature's Relief should big too.
Oh, it's because they got an ounce or a pound of it, and then they packaged it up.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get that point, but it's like the company, Nature's Relief, solid company, but they should be like, oh shit, let's get a sticker of this brand or something and slap it on here, because this is why it's going to sell, is because it's grown by this dank company. So it's like the brand, I think, is soon. I think it will change to that. The brand is going to be the breeder and the grower.
It's
not
just
the
a
brand.
matter of it's probably more expensive for Nature's Relief to buy prepackaged stuff from them.
100%. I'm just saying, like a way to organize it by grower and breeder, I think would be a big thing for people as a consumer when they're buying something,
It'd be way cooler.
Well, yeah, I think what the Dank Teaser booths and the grow tours have allowed us to see is to look for the triviums, the root weavers, the Franklin Fields, and know who you're getting it from, because that can make all the difference. Like he's got a Gorilla Glue number 4, but you got to look for the Emerald Mountains.
I had to search for that. There it is.
Where it's coming from, So, because it can be that specific. I mean, even the Michigromi cultivar you have there, dude. When I went to Timber, there was like 3 other of the same cultivar, and it's like only I know to look for the cultivation center or the grower, because we're a little bit immersified in the community. I don't. Your average.
It's not common knowledge.
Mom or pop or uncle going in there to get the pre-roll or even just a couple buds or an eighth or whatever. They're not necessarily privy to that. They're not gonna know.
Right. A lot of
They're
people
just gonna
think
buy
that their
off
favorite
of-
rappers growing that stuff that they're getting at the dispensary, and they're not.
It's true.
Yeah.
You look at the label and they're like, oh, that's from the same
that's
place that
Redwood
grows
fucking
all the other.
cultivation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Redwood grows everybody's shit in California and in Nevada. Like no matter who you are, it's like you're getting the same weed. It's different brands. Yeah, this is Mike Tyson. This is Lil Wayne. This is fucking Cookies. This is this, but it's all Redwood. It's all the same. Like they get these licenses from the company to do it, and it's shout out to them. They're doing their thing. But like, if you don't like this brand, you're definitely not gonna like this brand because it's the same grower behind it. That's where I think they're sneaking Trojan horse. They're white labeling it. It's like the Foreman grill. You know what I'm saying? George Foreman didn't make it. They found George Foreman and slapped him on the front of it, and that's happening often right now. Just sucks the weed's not any good. Tyson's weed was fucking mids.
I know.
The Foreman grill is awesome.
Same with Lil Wayne's weed.
I've heard that. I've heard it's terrible.
So Little Wayne's weed, I know they're just buying stuff off the open market.
I've got
That's all they do, and then they put it in
Got
their
a package
so they
to
put
it.
it in their packaging. Yeah, they package it in Jackson at Choice.
Bum, 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 bum. Sad trombone noises.
It has the grower. The package has the grower on the side. They give homage to whoever
Yeah,
grows it.
yep.
It's about that big on the side of it. It says who it
But
is.
what I'm saying is they're just buying it off the open market, so you'll notice that the grower is different every time. You're not going to see the same grower again and again.
Right.
They're just buying it off the open market, whatever's got the highest numbers, and then
White
it has to have
label.
an exotic sounding name, and that's their 2 requirements.
Yep, you gotta and testing at 30%, man.
And that's the other thing about the name with like I almost feel like I need to get it from a reputable source, like if I'm going to trust a name, like whether it's a name for terpene or potency or whatever the hell it is, whatever profile I'm looking for, because I like the smoke. If it's a name that I'm looking for, 13 people could have the same, could have like what somebody told them or sold them was wedding cake, and none of them might have the breeder cut wedding cake or whatever it is, so it's almost like, who do you even go to? And then at that point, like, is the market even educated on what, the real wedding cake should be, or any of that? Because there's just so much fake varietals out there being called. I almost feel like that's why 14 or, all of those varietals on the shelf are all like the same flavor smelling, just like it was potentially all the same cut, called the same,
grown
like
slightly
names,
different.
like, yeah.
That's fine with Rob, and I think that the grower should be more prominent. Like it should be the strain name followed by the grower. So
yeah,
on everything. So it'd be like for your example, wedding cake would be wedding cake, and if it was at our shop, Mitten Canico, or wedding cake, fucking whoever, apothecary, wedding cake by so and so.
No.
I think that would tell the consumer a hell of a lot more than even a lab test.
Yeah, like you think that would be the selling point, It'd be Mitten Co's Gorilla Glue number 4. Like that's what it is. That's the one you're looking for, is because of that. Like I think it's just, again, educating the market and the consumer, and educating these investors who don't give a shit about cannabis and it's just a money making industry, and saying, hey guys, here's longevity and how you can make real money. Those snobby fuckers who are reviewing our shit. Well, let's do it this way, and maybe they'll give us a good review. And then people will buy it up because everybody says this is an amazing product, because, well, it is. That's crazy to put out an amazing product. I don't know why it's so hard, but these guys, again, it's dollars and cents when they're like, wait, so you're saying this one only yields 3 ounces, but this one yields 8. Well, then we're going to grow this one. And it's like, yeah, what? It just comes down to, I think right now it's the cash grab. There is a lot of great ones out there. We've been having more and more that we run into that we don't have on the show, that we just will be at a opening of like Grassy Knoll. What was that one? It was like Iceberg, or what was the company? I don't know, but that shit, Glacier Farms, the snow cap that they had was just such a random dark horse of the mix that we rolled up, and I was like, whoa, what is this? Like, we needed more of it, but of course we didn't get more of it, unfortunately, but it's like the more and more these consumers and these connoisseurs are getting in the actual commercial side of things, the better it's going to be for all of us, because it's people who truly care about the product.
Yeah, that's what we need.
And the investors will make more money in the long run, so maybe they should listen.
Yeah, you would hope. But
I do have to jump off here. I actually got another obligation I got to do, guys. But I'd love to come back on again and come sesh. You guys got a bunch of shows. If you got, one to whenever. I'm in Michigan.
Sure,
so
man.
Time zone is the same. That's the beauty of it. Is the time zone's the actual same. It's for the once. It's never happened.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
And I'll be watching you guys in the future as always. So
Yeah, really
thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And Spartan, hit us up. We'd love to
Maybe
check out
we'll
the
see you guys
facility,
at
man.
some Michigan events.
Oh, for sure, dude. As soon as we got something that's not on the internet and we can go there and, not super corporate-y, we will see you there. Yeah.
First, the damn snow's gotta go away.
Yeah, that too.
Right, for sure.
Cheers,
Appreciate you
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Take it easy.
Cheers.
Really appreciate your time.
All right.
Awesome.
What do you think, chat?
That
Throw
was
some
really
smoke
cool
signals
they
for
were
these
able to join
guys.
us.
That was
Yeah.
really cool.
That was super good.
We had a lot of chat feedback, I think, during that.
Yeah.
Like
really cool
us.
if you're
Yeah,
able
there
to
it
watch.
is.
Smoke one for Cannabis Lifestyle TV.
So a lot of flames going up in chat. Thanks everybody.
That was
Yeah,
cool.
that was really sweet. Awesome that they could join us. Hell yeah. Love watching their show. So that was
Well, anything that follows now is going to be anticlimactic.
Well,
Unless you show your tits, Skilbo.
We do have
Hey.
Yeah, man.
Baked is always, that's his go-to.
Yeah, hey.
Show your tits, man.
Who doesn't like
Was it
that?
climactic?
Show it. Hey, can we get the finger guns in the show?
Oh, you could.
Careful, you got. Careful,
That's
we got to
quick
work
one.
Don't shoot your eye out.
He poked
Yeah,
my eye out, dude.
I'm gonna come in. My shoulder's gonna be messed up from that one.
We got to fucking work tomorrow. Don't fucking hurt yourself, man.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah, dude, I can't do
Oh,
it.
he's
dude.
gonna
I
pull a
do that. I'll
muscle
pull
right
a
after the
muscle.
show.
Hey, I'm gonna bring you in some of this stuff from I keep trying to call it Limerilla, the Limelight.
Oh yes, finally,
I'm
yeah.
gonna bring some. I'm gonna
Brandon
set some of
Russ
this
stuff.
here.
Sounds
Yeah.
yummy.
Painted Lady made some salve. I put on my hurdy knee, and it made my
looks
hurdy
good.
knee stop.
Save
hurting.
me some, Spartan.
Really
It cures hurting
Honestly.
knee. That's amazing.
cured my hurdy knee.
It cures her knee.
It looks green.
Whoa,
What'd you
I'm
make
sold.
it out of? Like, obviously, I'm guessing some cannabis.
Yes, cannabis. The
Is
cure all.
the jar green?
Mine?
Or am I crazy? No, I was looking at Spartan. I'm sorry.
Oh.
The jar is green.
We were doing
yeah.
two
Okay,
things
good.
at once.
Okay, good.
Or am I
I was like, that's
The
very
jar
good.
is even green.
That doesn't even help. Hold on.
Pull it out. Let's see this focus. Practice.
Practice.
Come on.
Come
No.
on.
Steady.
No.
Steady.
Pull it back. Pull it back slowly. I think his issue there is a lighting issue.
Yeah, I think
Too
so.
dark.
Yeah, I think he just needs a little. Yeah, pull your
Turn on your
Hands are too white.
No.
This
Okay,
camera's
well,
just hating on us,
Closer.
bud.
Smash with the camera. This is
camera's just a hater.
professional. This is
Closer.
professional AF.
Is that a
There
wart?
it is.
Is that a war?
That's beautiful.
I don't think you're gonna see a wart. That's just
No,
bullshit.
it's not
Pretty
focusing
sure
at
that's a
all.
wart.
So close.
It's not focusing at all.
It's a
I
fucking.
don't think you're
piece of
any
shit.
closer than you were.
Hey,
there you
right
are.
there.
Hey,
There
there
it
it
Whoa.
is.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. It looks pretty
go.
good.
Slow,
Now he
nice
fudged
and
it up.
Now he's gonna
You had
move
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on.
Looks awesome.
Great.
Right when it focuses
It
it.
just reminds me
Takes
of.
it down.
No, right? As soon as it focused, he took it off.
Yeah,
It's a fucking nug. It's a fucking. We've all seen nugs.
it's a weed
Fucking
dog.
nug, people.
You're gonna burn it. You're gonna get high.
But we
Yeah,
put so
I'm
much
bringing it in.
energy
You'll
into
see
seeing
it. You'll see it up close tomorrow. There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But it does it. It's got like a light,
Not sure what we're
limey,
talking about.
limey,
You're gonna
gassy.
see it up close tomorrow.
That sounds good. Huh?
Well, he is HR, so there's. It's
That's
fucking
right. I've been
ridiculous.
promoted.
Yeah, sorry. He's assistant to the HR.
You were promoted to HR.
assistant to
to-
the assistant
Oh.
to the HR.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
Vice
Damn.
president.
Official title.
you're
You get like a
But
hall
it's-
monitor
that-
ribbon.
it's still pretty big because him and the HR have the same ideas. So
Yeah, I just put out all the fires of the with the employees having like tiffs and shit. I gotta
Like
fucking
they've got like
scrape them all out.
87 employees and shit.
he doesn't
Yeah.
do any of that.
It's you, Baked. It's you.
Oh,
But
I
No.
gotta
Oh,
inform them when they
yeah.
break in.
If anything, I am a
It's
gentleman.
usually sexual harassment is usually the stuff I have to bring up with these guys, but
wow.
other than that, they're usually
Fair
pretty
enough.
good.
That's
Such a
awesome.
dirty lie. He knows it is because he's the dirtiest fucker there.
What
He's
are
always
you talking about?
yeah.
I'm so clean. I'm so.
You
fresh
always got
clean.
jokes about yeah. Okay.
I heard Bakes out there biting butts during default.
Seeker.
But
Call him Dwight.
Biting
Who's doing
butts.
what? I missed that.
That's
Good
what I
night.
was feeling.
they
What?
said I'm biting
What's that?
butts.
Assistant
Fighting
chief.
butts.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm gonna have to put up an investigation to find out. I haven't
See
heard
now,
about
now you got the assistant to the HR on me.
this.
I'm
Gross.
fucking. There goes all the fun.
Mitten camera company.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to talk to the Mitten camera crew and see what I
Yeah.
can find out.
Yeah, man.
I'm
Got
worried.
their assistant to HR on him.
Yeah.
I might
Oh,
have to go work
sequence.
with the HR director.
You
What's
guys are
going on-
such the odd
What's going on
couple.
in your garden?
My garden is awesome. I just took some pictures. Actually, I forgot to put them up. That's a good point.
Oh,
I'll do
get
that
them
right
up.
now.
Get them up.
I'll put them up. My
Got
garden
some
is good.
pistons.
I was at Painted Lady's house all weekend, but it didn't matter because I had my water automated, and it was here trickle-lating, and it watered the whole time I was gone, and everything is good. The pulse told me that everything was all good, and the water was all trickled, so all is well. I took some pictures to look at my Instagram after the show, and they'll be up there.
And what's your Instagram?
Sequence_MI for Michigan.
Remember to use the 3.
Yep. Thanks.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
What else is going on?
The Kansas City Bills game was way legit. So was Tom
what
Brady's
happened? I don't know what
Stafford.
happened.
Sports ball.
Went to overtime.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert.
Oh.
One of the teams won and one of the teams lost.
Don't spoil
Oh,
If
wow.
you care to know, then
Thanks,
look it
that
up.
sounds yeah.
I'm not
That's why I
spoiling
don't
that.
watch
It just happened.
Well,
The
that
game
wasn't
was
a waste of
completed.
time.
Yeah, like was there a sweet like 70-yard punt that won the game
There
in
was
a
like
movie
talking
style
about?
fashion?
4
How would a
touchdowns in
70-yard
2
punt win a
minutes.
game?
There was a bunch of touchdowns at the very end.
Not a punt of I mean a field goal.
Oh, a 70-yard field goal. That'd be impressive.
Yeah. Like what was that movie where the guy came out of doing a garbage truck?
My dog's getting sick. I gotta go. One sec.
Oh jeez.
Oh no.
I don't know that feeling.
Never good.
Mute.
Oh,
Oh,
mute.
He's muted.
Definitely dog puke. Definitely
That's a
dog
good
puke.
point, Becca. That's a good
Locked
point.
himself in. He can't get out of the
You're like,
that's the worst sound.
Poor dog.
It'll wake you from a dead sleep too.
Oh.
What is it about that sound?
Oh, especially if they're in bed with you.
Oh, yeah.
worse.
You can't get him out of there fast enough. You're like, fuck.
Especially when they're dragging their butthole over your face, right?
Oh my god.
that guy.
Yep. Yep.
Life comes to you
Has to
That
fast.
was the
happened
great
again.
gooching. Yeah.
1 second you're complaining about football, and the next second you're cleaning up.
Here we go.
The open eye Gucci. You're like, you're sleeping, and then it's just like, oh, what's on my
Bacon
chin?
style.
Oh, wait, I'm being smothered. Oh, wait, my eye. Oh, no, I need
He's
to
got
take
the
a
dustpan and the fucking
shower.
roll of paper towels. Clean at work, clean at home. That's
Clean
all
up
we
now,
fucking do.
free.
Turn the
Clean up now,
camera
free.
off.
Yeah, that's
I love
funny.
that he left the camera on.
I hope he has his speakers on. I hope he has his speakers on.
Use cardboard, Spartan. Cardboard.
Yeah, you can compost that in the
You
puke.
like it's for scooping. You
Oh.
just compost the cardboard with the
Scoop it.
scoop.
Boy, what kind of ratings are we going to get for this one?
Yeah,
A
this
lot
is
if you
quite
fix
the-
it up and then like.
Bro, don't
walls
forget the
Yeah,
ends.
and
up.
stuff.
I knew you were going to spotlight it.
Oh.
Don't forget the ends up.
You just do like his butt popping up.
Oh.
But what do we do?
Put the spotlight.
That's
The
the
Yep.
What a way to end the show.
I'm fucking
Yeah.
crying.
Yeah.
And I had so many poop incidents watching that 16-year-old deaf pug this weekend. It was
Right.
like, ooh.
Oh.
So,
That's
yeah.
the whole dog.
I feel his pain right now.
Spartan, you better wash
16?
your hands. You're gonna get pink eye.
16.
Oh my god.
Deaf?
If we
Oh,
all
yeah.
get pink
Oh,
eye
yeah, I
from
know all about the
assistance
deaf
to
dog
HR, I'm telling the head HR.
I'm pretty sure this dog had like ingested something that was dead, and then whatever it was died again.
Oh.
Its breath smelled so
So
bad.
Oh, dude, they just do when they get old.
Oh
Dude,
man.
rotting
This
disease.
so
fucker
far
over
away.
here, every morning, man, he's like rolling around. You like, oh, I'm gonna come cuddle you. Don't,
Yeah.
because his breath will knock you out in the morning.
Oh.
You
Yeah.
think it's their breath.
Damn,
You
Jared,
think
you
it's their
okay?
breath. You're just asleep, and it's really the other
I
side
think
of
you
them.
triggered Tara.
Oh well, yeah, maybe it's that.
So
That's my side.
everybody's probably heard of me talking about my lady Barb. She's my psych lady, and she had an accident over the weekend, and she cut part of her thumb off somehow. We don't know how. I know her son doesn't know how, but the worst part is the damn dog ate it.
Jeez.
So the paramedics and the son
Wow.
were like looking for this thumb for
to
like
get it
45
back.
minutes, and they're like, "Look, we gotta take her to the hospital. We can't find it." And they never found the fucking thumb, and the dog had blood all around his lips.
Oh,
So
you gotta chase the dog around for a couple days.
I told him, I was like, "You better be prepared for finding it in the couch or throwing it up."
Right.
Or,
Tara
yeah.
was laughing her ass off. To
So
tell
now
that
she
story.
keeps talking to me, and she's like, "I don't have a thumb anymore, and I think the dog ate it." That's her new fetish that she's
Keizu in the chat.
psychosing on.
Silent, man.
Oh, my lady Barb.
Thank you.
Chopping.
Barb.
Yeah.
Oh,
sorry.
goodness sakes, that woman.
We're gonna call
God
her
love her.
Stump now.
I give that story one
Oh.
thumb up.
The thing is, though, is we have no clue. He found no sharp things or anything. There's no glass. There was no knives. But it was literally, she took it off right underneath the thumb, her nail right there. So,
All the way.
no.
So now there's
Like,
just a little
clean
spot.
off. Just clean off. She's just got to stop now.
Hey, what
I
kind
know.
of knife did she have so I can buy one?
There was no knife, he said. I don't know.
Jedi mind trick.
Did she gnaw it off?
I have
Laser?
asked her 100 times how she did, and she said she was moving the chair and she fell and her thumb came off.
What the fuck?
Laughing.
Man.
Can we get Keizu? Can we get
God, I
Keizu's
know I
reaction
shouldn't be
again, please?
laughing, but
Oh,
I was so sick with worry for her. I felt so bad being so far away from her that I can't take care of her, and I felt so guilty. But she's done okay. She's managed.
half a thumbs up, Keizu says.
Half a thumb, I know. And her son was so bad. He's
Thumb-
like,
thumb
she
and a
can't
half.
even thumb
You
a
should get a
ride
thumb and a
now.
half. I think a
Yeah.
thumb and a half.
Man, poor Barb.
I know, poor Barb. And she got COVID on top of it, so
Son of a
double
beast.
doozy.
I hope
Oh, that's
Never
been
had
fun
this
and
video
games.
of laughing in the face of like sheer horror.
We have no more.
I know, I
hitchhiking.
should not be laughing. But
She's okay,
it's better
is
than
the
crying
important
because
thing.
I did cry a whole lot about it, so I guess I gotta laugh about it.
Yeah.
The thumb.
Be falling
I'm
off
not even
and
gonna
shit.
make
Sorry.
Welcome
back.
While we're on thumbs, hit that like
Just
button.
She doesn't know where it's at exactly.
Hit our like thumb, please. While you're
Man.
here.
The
Oh,
next time
don't
I-
forget
oh,
to go
I'm
to
gonna be
live
serious.
chat. Live chat.
Oh,
With 3 minutes to go.
stories.
Yeah, nice reminder at the end.
Yeah,
of
we
it.
get some outros.
Hey, you worry about the mess over there now.
Not
I'm
yet.
not too worried anymore.
Not yet, Scobo.
We could milk it a little bit more.
Cheers,
right?
everybody.
Smells faintly of dog food.
Cheers, Daddy Red.
I know those ones.
I can't be
You
mad.
didn't just
I'm
retrieve that
assuming
lighter out of
he's
that
hot. I'm
mess, did
assuming
you?
he's hot.
He's kind of spinning
Yeah,
that lighter
yeah,
around. He's
that's
drying
what
it
I
off.
figured.
Was it Quibs or was it
Boris.
Oh
Oh,
no.
yeah.
No, it was
That's why I
a
had
big
to get the
pile.
Larger volume.
So I got the big old dustpan because it was
We
a lot.
watched. We were laughing.
I heard you.
Oh.
I would need the fucking. I wouldn't need the speakers on to hear your ass the way you fucking go.
Oh
I know
yeah,
he's
they give
fucking
me
loud
shit
as
at work.
hell.
Yeah, they give me shit at work because I'm the loudest motherfucker apparently.
You hear 'em over fans, over
They'll be
everything.
like,
Walking
"Hey Pierce,
megaphone.
go get somebody." I'll just yell down the hallway. Usually don't hear me.
I always think I could have just done that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it works
No,
out.
you
that
cannot. I would put
You have
baked
to
up
project.
against anybody.
Good to
Yeah.
project.
Cheers, Jebbies.
Yeah, I can project pretty good.
Good projection.
Beast mod I have not.
Remember to follow the Twitch. We tipped with the puke bomb by the thumb store. Really spot us back.
We do want to thank the guys from CLtv for joining us. It was super cool that they came on. Appreciate everybody who jumped on over from their channel, tuned in as well, because what a cool, fun thing. I know we drift off the topic here in the last 15 minutes, but that, I mean, I think we're all a little bit mind blown. They came
You
by
tripped?
and dripped, yeah,
They're west.
tripped,
West Coast
stumbled,
Yeah.
cobbled down the mountain, and fell through
Dude,
Here we come.
dog
Late
slop.
sesh tomorrow night, 11 p.m.
And don't forget
Cheers,
Polarity
everybody.
Science on Thursday at 9. Appreciate you.
I'm loving the
everybody.
new time. by the way.
30 seconds.
Thanks, man. Me too.
Ramble.
Small talk.
How about that
This thing
snow
off
last night? You know?
Oh my God, we've got so
Doesn't
much
affect
snow
me.
up here.
How about them?
How about them thumbs?
I saw.
I know. How about poor Barb's thumb?
That's fucked up,
City-
Skilbo. Now
city
everybody's got
extension,
two now.
Moment
Sidewalk.
silence for
plows.
Barb's
Yeah, man.
and Betty White.
City
See
sidewalk
that?
plows.